Chapter 133. This is bad. Zhu Yin is here. Let's go. We can't let him in here. Tai Bao's size roar made Zhu Yin shudder. He jumped down immediately. He didn't care what Zhu Yan's purpose was, but he couldn't let Zhu Yin enter this blood-red space. Rumble. Zhu Yan's aura was terrifying, and his anger soared to the heavens. He had already rushed here, and his aura filled the entire giant cave as he rushed towards the giant bronze door. Female Azura. Zhu Yan's face was ferocious. He saw the female Azura, and she had even opened the first divine-grade Dao gate. Su Bingshuang could open the Dao gate a month ago, so she could break through this barrier as long as she had enough Origin Essence stones. Seeing the ground full of Origin Essence stone powder, Zhu Yin went crazy. These were all his resources, and now they were all taken away and used to break through. What a disgrace! Zhu Yan's eyes were filled with rage. He stood in the bronze chariot and suddenly stretched out his palm. This palm rapidly enlarged and turned into a giant purple hand. It was surrounded by a monstrous light of divinity and was densely packed with the power of law. Zhu Yin, who was at the third stage of the Dao Gate realm, had a powerful palm. Su Bingshuang erupted with her strongest strength, awakening the Saint Origin scripture, and struck out with the Saint Origin hand to meet the attack. Rumble. The power of the two collided, emitting a vast energy ripple that swept in all directions. Su Bingshuang's body trembled, and her entire palm was bent. She took a step back and was almost sent flying by Zhu Yan's slap. Stop! Seeing that Zhu Yin didn't want to continue fighting and was about to rush into the giant bronze door, Su Bingshuang summoned the star chain. She was wearing a purple robe, and the jade pendant hanging on her waist was awakened. Su Bingshuang summoned the three divine weapons, which made Zhu Yan's eyes turn red. They were all his treasures, and now they were all taken away by them and used against him. Get lost, get lost, get lost. Zhu Yin roared, completely out of control. The bronze war chariot suddenly awakened to the extreme. The war chariot rapidly enlarged, like an ancient mountain. It emanated a terrifying pressure that was like the mountains and seas, causing the void to distort. Dharma armament. Su Bingshuang was suffocating. The power of the bronze chariot was not something she could withstand. When it attacked, she felt like her body and soul would be destroyed. Not good. Su Bingshuang's face changed. This was because Zhu Yin was very decisive. He left the bronze chariot suspended here while he strode towards the giant bronze door. Zhu Yin was also on the verge of exploding when he first arrived here. The scene was different from the last time he was here. This giant mountain was extremely terrifying. It seemed to be awakening along with the earth. For a moment, it exuded an aura that could slay gods and destroy immortals. Zhu Yin immediately began to circulate the opening chapter of the beginning sutra he had obtained, and the pressure on him immediately dissipated by quite a bit. Zhu Yan's eyes were filled with ecstasy. Through the opening chapter of the beginning sutra, Zhu Yin could faintly sense the terror and majesty of this mountain. It hid a heaven-defying fortune and an invincible inheritance. This can't be the legendary Origin Mountain, right? Zhu Yin was agitated, and his heart was sobbing. He was frantically trying to comprehend the inheritance of the space of the snow mountain. He wanted to obtain everything in this giant mountain. But at this moment, a Tai Baokai wearing a red didu with a treasure bowl on its head and armed to the teeth, stared with its bell-like eyes and fiercely rushed out. All of you get lost! Zhu Yin roared. His eyes flashed with a ferocious killing intent. He instantly raised his palm and slashed toward the Tai Baokai. Facing Zhu Yin, who was at the third firmament of the Dao Gate realm, the Tai Bao's entire body glowed with treasure light. The treasures on its body began to awaken one after another. The Tai Baokai, who was armed to the teeth, had at least a dozen treasures on its body. This scene made Zhu Yin so angry that he was about to explode. All of the treasures were his, all of them. The Tai Baokai grinned and laughed foolishly. It had made up its mind not to let Zhu Yin obtain even a trace of the inheritance. The Tide outside's complacent look made Zhu Yin roar crazily. He instantly unleashed his strongest combat strength and charged towards the Tai Bao Kai. After all, he was at the third firmament of the Dao Gate realm. His strength was shocking. In an instant, he suppressed the aura emitted by the Tai Bao Kai. His palm also crushed the layers of treasure light as he slashed towards the Tai Bao Cai's head. Bao Kai, stop him and delay him for a while. Su Yin suddenly descended from the sky. He was even carrying a giant coffin as he dove towards the giant bronze door. This scene made Zhu Yin ecstatic. The heavenly coffin was actually carried out by Su Yin. It was the creation that he wanted to take away even in his dreams. Zhu Yin laughed hysterically. Ha! Su Yin, what a good Su Yin. Stay here. You can't escape from my palms. Su Yin's speed was extremely fast. He rushed out of the giant bronze door as fast as lightning. Zhu Yin attacked furiously. He gave up on killing the Tai Bao Kai and rushed towards Su Yin. He wanted to snatch the coffin away. Rumble! Zhu Yin charged outside. The next moment, his expression changed. Su Yin had escaped. He ran faster than a rabbit. However, the coffin he was carrying had disappeared without a trace. It turned into waves of nomological divine power and dispersed. Zhu Yin was trembling. His eyes were red, and his mind felt like it was about to explode. His eyes quickly became bloodshot. He was so furious that his hair was disheveled. In the end, he almost bled. He let out a furious roar. He had been fooled. Su Yin didn't take the heavenly coffin at all. Clang! A loud sound made. Zhu Yin turned his head. He saw the Tai Bao Kai use the power of the Origin Sutra to slam the giant bronze door shut. Tai Bao Kai was shocked. Zhu Yan's condition was very bad, and it made all the hair on its body stand up. It retreated like a big hedgehog. It grinned and comforted it. Little swallow, don't be angry. Don't be angry. It's not good for your body. Zhu Yin roared towards the sky. The divine light around his body swept out in all directions, almost shattering the area. I'm going to kill you. Zhu Yan's killing intent surged. His aura of resentment soared to the sky. He controlled the bronze chariot and chased after Su Yin. Little swallow wore flowery clothes. Come here every spring. Come here. Tai Bao Kai wore a red didou. Its body glowed as it sang excitedly. When its voice spread out, Zhu Yin was driven mad. The bronze chariot almost fell to the ground. He came every year, but he couldn't open the giant bronze door and see the heavenly coffin. Without Su Yin, he wouldn't be able to obtain the great creation inside. Zhu Yin's training hall was in chaos. Su Yin rushed out from inside. The anti-flight formation couldn't stop him at all. With Su Yan's mastery of the occult arts, he could easily break through the anti-flight formation. The moment Su Yin charged out, Zhu Yan's fury, which could burn mountains and boil seas, also surged out. Stop him! Stop him! There were at least dozens of demon kings in the training hall. There were also 2 demon kings who had opened the Dao Gate realm. After receiving Zhu Yan's order, they rushed forward to stop Su Yin. Buzz! Su Yin's body glowed. His entire body seemed to have disappeared without a trace. The next moment, when he appeared again, the earth vein qi in the sky was boiling. Su Yin merged with the earth vein qi. He jumped through space and forced his way to the area of the lesser 5 elements formation. Su Yin took out another formation plate. He suppressed the power of the lesser 5 elements formation and rushed out. A bunch of trash. Zhu Yin rushed out furiously. He calmed down a little. How could Su Yin escape from him? He said in a cold voice, I'll kill you even if I have to slaughter the entire Huaxiao alliance. The lesser 5 elements formation collapsed under Zhu Yan's anger. The bronze chariot was too terrifying. It drove into the void and chased after Su Yin. Boom! The undulating mountain range shook and was about to be crushed by the bronze chariot. At this moment, a large number of cultivators had rushed here. When they saw the tide-like chi of heaven and earth in this area, they were all dumbfounded. They didn't know that there was such an amazing land of treasure on earth. So it's like this. We really found it. Xiaze recognized this place. This was a location where they wanted to build Huaxia University. However, Zhu Yin forcibly occupied it. He didn't expect this place to have become so amazing. It nurtured divine essence and could help people speed up their cultivation. It's Su Yin. The whole place was in an uproar. They were surprised to see Su Yin rush out. Why was Su Yin here? Give me your life. The bronze chariot's terrifying power was like 100,000 mountains lined up. It rumbled and penetrated the area where Su Yin was. The area suddenly collapsed, and a large crack spread far and wide. At this moment, Su Yin felt like his body and soul were about to be destroyed. His whole body was about to collapse. He was shocked. The Dharma armament was too powerful. It wasn't something he could block. Buzz. The purple inner armor on Su Yin's body awakened and blocked the Dharma armament's power. Breakthrough begin. Su Yin stepped on the wilderness. His clothes flapped loudly. He communicated with the chi of the earth and changed his position. He leaped in the territory. At the same time, streams of chi of essence poured out from the natal cauldron. When tens of thousands of streams of chi of essence rushed out, they penetrated Su Yan's body and densely covered his limbs and bones. Clang! Clang! Su Yan's body transmitted the sound of forging iron. Under the impact of the power of so many original essence stones, Su Yan's body shackles clanged. He was about to step into the Tao Gate realm. Thousands of original essence stones were all absorbed by Su Yin. Now he needed strength and foundation. Only in this way could he step into the Tao Gate realm and have the power to fight with Zhu Yin. Ha ha ha! Little Su Yin wants to build an arena? It's ridiculous. Who's strong and who's weak can be seen at a glance. Look at Su Yin. What's the use of running? If you tell the truth now, you can avoid death. Stop Su Yin. I propose to catch him and take him to Huaxia City. Let him stand on the arena built by him and fight with Zhu Yin. A large number of people of the young and strong faction also rushed over. When they noticed that Su Yin was being chased by Zhu Yin, they all laughed. If Su Yin didn't master the chi of earth veins, Zhu Yin could catch up with Su Yin easily. Su Yin, you sinner, stop. It was like a golden lion leaping up from the end of the horizon. His whole body radiated light and suppressed the world. You still want to run? You want to build an arena to fight with Zhu Yin, the god of war? Where's your courage? Ding Jun stood in front of Su Yin. The Tao Gate in his body opened and activated the power of the rules of heaven and earth. Ding Jun looked down at Su Yin and said coldly, "It's too late to admit defeat now. Let me catch you and hand you over to God of War Zhu Yin." He stretched out his palm. His whole aura gushed out and suppressed this area. "Old man, how dare you block my way?" Su Yan's eyes were full of killing intent. At this moment, he was no longer calm. His whole body was like a giant golden furnace burning. When the aura of the natal cauldron and Su Yin intertwined, the sky was about to be torn apart. Bang! Su Yan's whole body was full of soaring aura. In an instant, he opened the seal of the rules of heaven and earth. The horrible aura in his body ran through the sky, like a big ancient star crashing down. Chapter 134. The ancient star in the sky was enough to collapse the heavens. Su Yan's entire body shone with a golden light as his blood essence surged endlessly. He was filled with an extremely domineering aura, and the ancient star's vigorous power began to awaken in this area. The spectators were shocked. At this moment, Su Yin was too powerful. He was like a small true dragon soaring into the sky, illuminating the heavens and earth. His limbs and bones surged with a shocking aura. The moment his tool, building realm battle prowess, reached the peak, there was a tendency to shatter Tao gates. Boom! A loud explosion rang out. Su Yan's entire fist released a cloud-shattering light beam. The moment it struck, it emitted an army-shattering power. Countless ripples of light, shaking realm divine, might enveloped Ding Jun, who was charging towards him. Ding Jun's expression changed greatly, and a trace of fear flashed through his eyes. He had a tendency to shatter along with Su Yan's fist. Even if he had opened a profound Tao gate, the Tao Gate he opened released laws that were actually destroyed by Su Yan's fist. Not good. Ding Jun quickly took out his treasure. This was a small, earthen yellow seal that floated in the void. The moment Ding Jun took it out, this earthen yellow seal shone brightly and emitted a ferocious aura. A golden lion appeared. This was Ding Jun's treasure, the lion roar seal. Once it awakened, the golden lion would roar towards the sky, wanting to tear apart a strong enemy. Heavens! The surrounding people were scared half to death. At this moment, Su Yan was too domineering. His aura could swallow rivers and mountains, and he was unstoppable. His entire body emitted an unparalleled might. When his life cauldron and his body became one, and the moment the origin scripture was activated, Su Yan's fist aura reached a new level. Rumble! This fist struck. Under Su Yan's fist, the golden lion illusion completely collapsed, exploding into pieces. Just how tyrannical and terrifying was this? Firstly, Su Yan's physical body was strong enough. Secondly, his life cauldron was too strong. Under the state of life cauldron and life cauldron, Su Yan had the confidence to kill weaker Tao Gates. Pooh! Ding Jun spat out a mouthful of blood. This was the power of the light, shaking fist. 10,000 streaks of golden light shot out, carrying with it the power to destroy armies. Ding Jun's body trembled violently, and his hair was disheveled as he fell heavily to the ground. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. This scene was too shocking. Ding Jun, who was in the Tao Gate realm, was actually severely injured by Su Yan with a single punch. What kind of shocking combat strength was this? Give me your life. And at this moment, the vacuum behind Su Yan collapsed. The power radiating from the bronze war chariot spread outwards. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him, and Su Yan nearly collapsed on the field. Dying, Su Yan roared into the sky. He revived his life cauldron and took out his golden iron rod. He triggered the chi of the earth veins and broke through the bronze chariot's blockade. He pounced forward and grabbed Ding Jun. What are you doing? Ding Jun was terrified. Could it be that Su Yan still wanted to kill him? I'll send you to hell. Su Yan sneered. He threw Ding Jun into the bronze chariot's energy ripples as if he was throwing trash. No, Su Yan, stop. Stop. Ding Jun screamed in fear. It was difficult for him to break free. The bronze chariot was a Dharma armament, and the source of its power had already covered Ding Jun. He was terrified and couldn't avoid the power of the bronze chariot. Trash, get out of my way. Su Yan was enraged. He drove the bronze chariot forward, and under the trembling eyes of the crowd, Ding Jun was blasted into a pile of meat paste. God of War Su Yan, kill Ding Jun. The onlookers felt their scalps tingle as they screamed. Ding Jun was one of the top 10 experts, but Su Yan had crushed him to death. Moreover, Ding Jun had been speaking up for God of War Su Yan. This made them shudder. Su Yan was too ruthless. Rumble. The bronze chariot was even more terrifying. This chariot filled the heavens and the earth. It was huge and boundless like a bronze mountain. Under Su Yan's control, an earth-shattering energy source rushed toward Su Yan. Dozens of miles away, Su Yan could feel the apocalyptic aura pressing down on him, suffocating him. It was so unbearable that he almost coughed out a mouthful of blood. Wong! Su Yan let out a deep roar. His body had already begun to strengthen. Countless origin essence stones turned into energy, breaking through a portion of the shackles. He was on the verge of breaking through to the Tao Gate realm. I need time. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. Once the bronze chariot hit him, Su Yan would die without a doubt. Rumble. The ground in a radius of dozens of miles undulated. Su Yan's aura penetrated the entire area. His footsteps produced resplendent patterns that scattered array marks. For a moment, the energy of the earth veins rumbled. Rise for me, Su Yan roared. His strange arts were activated, and the energy of the earth veins soared into the sky, faintly transforming into an earth dragon. The bronze chariot's power was immediately blocked. Su Yan took advantage of this time to madly rush forward. Moreover, he stimulated the energy of the earth veins to rush forward. His body was constantly glowing as he crazily tore through the bottleneck of his cultivation. He was beginning the most important awakening. Rumble. The area sank down as the energy of the earth veins dispersed. The bronze chariot was heavy and crushed dozens of miles of land. Large black cracks appeared in the earth. This scene caused one's hair to stand on end. Just how strong was this bronze chariot? My good brother, didn't you want to fight me? What are you running for? Zhu Yan's eyes were cold. His body was suffused with a divine power that pierced through the bronze chariot. Wherever the chariot passed, the heavens and earth trembled. The sun and moon lost their light. Layers of earth veins were shattered by him. Nothing could stop Zhu Yan's movement. Everything was destroyed in a single moment. Zhu Yan, it's not time yet. Why are you in such a hurry? Zhu Yan turned around and sneered. I've said before, 1 year later, you won't keep your promise. You, Zhu Yan, still have the face to say that? Zhu Yan's words immediately caused the people from the young and strong faction to be enraged. What did Zhu Yan mean? Give him a few more years, and he would be able to fight Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan, I advise you to stop struggling and surrender. You won't be able to stop War God Zhu Yan. A young expert roared. You're wasting time. You're wasting your life. You bunch of blind fools. You're still speaking up for Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan laughed angrily. I advise you to go to Zhu Yan's lair and take a look. See if your clansmen are enjoying life or suffering there. Zhu Yan's words spread far and wide. Some of the young men's expressions changed. What did Zhu Yan mean? Boom. Suddenly, the bronze chariot rumbled. Zhu Yan's aura also blazed by a large margin. The 3 divine-grade Dao gates in his body opened one after another. His divine essence penetrated the clouds and emitted a vast amount of law power. Suppress. Zhu Yan roared. The ground within 100 miles undulated. Countless law powers swooped down and affected the area. Everything seemed to be suppressed by Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan, I've told you. It's not time yet. Why are you in such a hurry? Zhu Yan was like a barbaric dragon. The natal cauldron was integrated with him at all times. Zhu Yan's aura penetrated the sky. He rushed forward and stepped on the ground. Zhu Yan's speed was too fast, leaving a trail of dust behind him. Zhu Yan kept changing his position with the help of the chi of earth veins. He admitted that Zhu Yan was powerful, but it was not so easy for Zhu Yan to catch up with him. This was a hunting battle. The bronze chariot chased Zhu Yan. Wherever it passed, the mountains and forests were in chaos. Some mountains even sank. Are they fighting? At this time, some cultivators who rushed out of Huaxia City saw the hunting battle on their way. They were stunned. Zhu Yan is too terrifying. She chased after Zhu Yan and attacked him. Zhu Yan is still arrogantly building a fighting platform. I don't know who gave him the courage. No, it's not time yet. Anyway, Zhu Yan is too powerful. Zhu Yan is no match for him. There were too many people who came. They looked up to watch the battle. Then, they were all frightened. The bronze chariot was like a giant chariot. The aura it emitted made a lot of cultivators explode into a mist of blood. This place became a purgatory on earth. Some unlucky cultivators with weak cultivation were crushed by the aura of the bronze chariot. Zhu Yan, how dare you? An old man roared and trembled with anger. Several of his clansmen were killed by the bronze chariot. This scene made the people around tremble. Was Zhu Yan crazy? In order to kill Zhu Yan, he did not care about the consequences. Get out of here. Zhu Yan's aura became more and more violent. Wearing the golden armor, he emitted a cold aura. He was like the overlord of the Huaxia Alliance. This scene caused the survivors to be both shocked and angry. Just now, many people were shocked to death by Zhu Yan. The bloody scene made the onlookers shudder. Everywhere the bronze chariot passed, corpses were everywhere. Too many people had died. Go, go. Zhu Yan roared in anger. He did not expect Zhu Yan to do this. Was this guy really going to rebel? A bunch of trash. How dare you block my way? Kill without mercy. Zhu Yan said in a cruel voice. He had had enough. Zhu Yan had driven him crazy. This was a world where the strong were respected, but they had to abide by some rules. He, Zhu Yan, claimed to be the #1 expert on Earth. He was clearly the overlord of Earth. He felt that he needed to use iron and blood to rule the whole planet. Many people found it difficult to accept. Why would the revered Zhu Yin say such words? They were not talented enough, but the word trash was hard for them to accept. Zhu Yin, do you think of yourself as a local tyrant? Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. He leaped toward a mountain and shouted coldly, killing people on sight. I think you, Zhu Yin, are not from Earth. Tell me, are you an alien? Just a bunch of trash. If they die, they die. You are no exception. Zhu Yin replied cruelly. In the bronze chariot, the soul of a foot, wearing the purple cloud boots, appeared. This foot was like a giant mountain pressing down. It was filled with a terrifying aura. The moment it stepped down, an invincible aura spread out. Then you could be eliminated. Su Yin was furious. His whole body tore open layer after layer of shackles. Su Yan's aura pierced through the sky under the endless chi essence. Chapter 135. Alien. There were too many onlookers here. They were all running for their lives, afraid that Zhu Yin would go berserk and tear them apart. However, Su Yan's words caused them to feel fear in their hearts. Aliens? Zhu Yin was an alien? How is that possible? However, some of the older people were alarmed. Zhu Yin seemed to know a lot about the god and devil civilization. In particular, some of the youths felt their blood run cold. This speculation gave them goosebumps all over their bodies. Zhu Yin, indeed, knew a little too much about the matters of the cultivation world. Look, someone turned back while running and saw an inconceivable scene. It caused the panicked crowd to turn back, and they were all stunned. Firstly, Zhu Yan's powerful kick did not place Su Yin in his eyes at all. The strength from the huge sole of his foot blasted the nearby, fleeing people into a bloody mist. What kind of tyrannical kick was this? Even a tool-building realm expert was trampled to death. This kick was ruthlessly stomping down on Su Yin, but Su Yin had awakened. The entire mountain collapsed under the strength born from his body. Nearly 3,000 origin essence stones were turned into powder, forming a vast essence energy that penetrated Su Yan's limbs and bones, allowing him to successfully break through. Su Yin roared towards the sky. His hair danced in the wind. His body released billowing golden ripples that swept out in all directions. The mountain he stood on sank as rubble flew into the clouds. Following Su Yan's awakening strength, it began to tremble and shatter. Rumble! The ground in a 100-mile radius shook, unable to withstand Su Yan's strength. His entire body turned into a golden furnace. It was covered with dense and resplendent law runes. It caused the world to rumble as laws poured down like a sea. At this moment, Su Yin was peerlessly powerful. His aura could swallow mountains and rivers. He had opened the Tao Gate Realm's barrier, and his body had stepped into the Tao Gate Realm. His grasp of the laws of heaven and earth had reached a new level. Now, Su Yan's body was like a giant Tao Gate. It spewed out heaven and earth essence energy and gathered the power of laws. Kill! The foot that was about to stomp down on Su Yin was shaken by the power that erupted from Su Yan's body. Su Yin soared into the sky, his entire body releasing the aura of a king. Behind him, the roar of the primal chaos ocean could be faintly heard. Su Yin raised his fist and punched the sky, dominating the vault of heaven. The moment his fist was released, Su Yan's entire fist was covered with the power of laws. It interweaved into a blurry golden star that flowed with endless golden light. The surging power of supernatural powers that surged out attracted the stars in the sky. At this moment, Su Yin was terrifying and domineering. He raised his fist and punched the sky, smashing down on Zhu Yan's huge foot. Rumble. Just like that, there was a loud explosion. At the moment of their collision, energy ripples swept out in all directions. Some of the great mountains were shaken to the point of cracking. Countless ancient trees were toppled, and endless leaves flew about madly. The onlookers from all directions were sent flying. They could not withstand this kind of delay. Unbelievable! Lu Qingtian and the others were dumbfounded. They originally thought that Su Yin could barely fight with Zhu Yin. Who would have thought that Su Yin actually had such combat strength? The onlookers gasped. They saw that Su Yan's fist had shaken Zhu Yan's huge leg and caused a crack to appear on the purple cloud boots. It seemed like Su Yan's punch was going to penetrate it. Su Yan's body had entered the Tao Gate realm. He could unleash the power of his natal cauldron. The cauldron recited scriptures, and the cauldron's mouth gushed with the power of the stars like tidal waves, causing the power of Su Yan's Big Dipper fist to skyrocket. Su Yan and the cauldron became one. His entire body was filled with a domineering aura. He met the attack with one punch after another. Every punch was heavy and ferocious, shattering the purple cloud boots. The crowd that had rushed over once again was dumbfounded. Su Yan was actually able to destroy a divine weapon. How abnormal was his physical body? Just how amazing was the artifact that he had forged? Bastard! Zhu Yan's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He gritted his teeth and roared. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Origin Essence Stone. If not for his Origin Essence Stone, how could Su Yan have broken through? He could naturally tell that Su Yan had broken through with his body. But what kind of heavenly art did Su Yan master? With the help of this scripture, Su Yan could definitely fight with him for a while. Even if you break through, you will still die. The moment Zhu Yan's voice faded, the bronze chariot rumbled. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the bronze chariot suddenly enlarged. It was like an ancient chariot that blotted out the sky and the sun. When it overturned, it had an aura that could shatter the sky and split the sea. Some people's hair stood on end. They were about to explode when the bronze chariot awakened. Rumble. The bronze chariot's power exceeded everyone's expectations. When it was driven by Zhu Yan, the bronze chariot suddenly shot out a beam of light, turning into an ancient chariot that blotted out the sky. It was a terrifying scene. Hundreds of miles of territory were sinking, about to be destroyed by the bronze chariot. Su Yan had goosebumps all over his body. Even someone as strong as him had a tendency to shatter, let alone others. This was a Dharma manifestation divine weapon. It was rumored that it could be big or small. Now that Zhu Yan had awakened the bronze chariot's power, when it exploded, everything would be destroyed. Clank! Just as everyone thought that Su Yan would be crushed into meat paste by the bronze chariot, the sound of a sword rang out. Between heaven and earth, the divine sound of a killing sword leaving its sheath reverberated. It was as if a weapon training pool was refining a heavenly weapon. Rays of sword light that pierced through the heavens exploded, illuminating hundreds of miles of territory that was about to collapse. At this moment, the onlookers felt as if their heads were about to fall to the ground. That peerless aura of sharpness swept out in all directions. Unsheathed, someone saw Su Yan soar into the sky, his hair dancing wildly. He faced the attack with 9 sword embryos on his back. These 9 bronze killing swords were carved with the image of a real dragon. They were like 9 treasured swords. When they were unsheathed, they exploded with sword light. Every ray of sword light was shockingly thick. The 9 sword lights were shaped like dragons. When they were released, the bronze chariot shadow that was pressing down was torn to pieces by the 9 dragon-shaped sword lights. Chi! These 9 bronze killing swords were shocking. They pierced through the clouds and fog, revolving around Su Yan. Under the guidance of Su Yan's divine power, the 9 great killing swords soared into the sky and attacked Zhu Yan. As the 9 great killing swords pierced through the air, they rapidly enlarged and became 9 giant swords. Ha, did you see that? This is this beast god's most precious treasure. The Tai Baokai was in the crowd, afraid that others would not know about its treasures. It grinned from ear to ear. No one had the time to pay attention to the Tai Baokai. They were all attracted by the battle. The 9 great killing swords closed in on Zhu Yan, and he felt like he was about to be killed. Suppress. Zhu Yan walked out of the bronze chariot and said coldly. The 3 divine-grade Tao gates in his body opened, gushing out divine essence that penetrated the bronze chariot. The chariot enlarged again, and the wheels rumbled as it charged towards the 9 great killing swords. Dong! Su Yin pushed the 9 great killing swords, and Zhu Yin pushed the bronze chariot. Rumble. The two Dharma manifestation weapons collided here, shooting out destructive light that illuminated the sky. What surprised people was that the bronze chariot also had the ability to store things. There was a space inside, and this chariot emerged with a suction force that sucked away the 9 great killing swords. Not good. Su Yin, be careful. Someone screamed. These were the 9 great killing swords, and they were snatched away by Zhu Yin, just like that. The Tai Baokai sneered. Zhu Yin was strong, but how could he suppress the 9 great killing swords? At most, he could suppress them for a while, but at the same time, the bronze chariot could not be used. The Tai Baokai felt that Su Yin had passed the most powerful trial. Even if he was at a disadvantage, he still had the strength to fight Zhu Yin. The bronze chariot rumbled, but it was difficult to suppress the 9 great killing swords. Let's see how you fight me without any treasures. Zhu Yan's cruel eyes looked down at Su Yin and said coldly, "You escaped that year. This time, I will kill your soul." Wong. Zhu Yin swooped down, carrying with him the essence, energy, and spirit to kill Su Yin. The 3 divine-grade Taoist gates revolved in his life spring. At this moment, Zhu Yin was too powerful. He was clad in golden armor and wore a purple gold crown on his head. He was like a bolt of purple lightning, striking at Su Yin. Even the sky was split open. The purple divine radiance covered the sky and the sun. The Taoist gates sprinkled down a misty divine energy, which could easily split mountains and break waves, suppressing powerful enemies. It was suffocating. These were divine-grade Taoist gates, a total of 3 divine-grade Taoist gates. Zhu Yan's battle prowess was extremely shocking. He was like a purple sun rushing down. Zhu Yan, you better wake up. This is not your territory. Su Yan's eyes widened. His entire body emitted a golden glow. He became one with his weapon. His palms formed a fist seal, and the wavering light fist exploded, bombarding the swooping Zhu Yan. Kiki, Su Yin, you are not qualified to fight with me. You will die peacefully, Zhu Yin said cruelly, still looking down at Su Yin. In an instant, 2 super powerful energy storms collided. One had the power of the sea, while the other had the power of the Tao of strength. The moment they fought, the sky collapsed and the earth sank. The sun and moon lost their light. The power released by each other collided here, releasing the sound of the collision of the 9 heavens. Everyone could clearly see that Su Yin was suppressed. The 3 divine-grade Taoist gates were too domineering. They immediately enveloped Su Yin, wanting to suppress him. You are the one who will die peacefully. The source of power gushing out of Su Yan's body became more and more astonishing. Just as Zhu Yan's second punch came, Su Yin let out a wild roar. His entire body turned into a golden furnace, and his vitality rose from the ground in a flourishing state. Boom! Someone saw a sun burning here. When the power of the sun opening fist was circulated by Su Yin, his body was like a star, swallowing rivers and mountains, looking down on the heavens. What a terrifying battle! Rumbling sounds could be heard from hundreds of miles away. What an unbelievable battle this was. The purple sun and the golden sun collided here, and the sky was filled with surging divine light. They collided here, and the clouds in all directions had already collapsed. There were countless large cracks. Kill! Su Yan's hair danced wildly, and his roar shook the mountains and rivers. The golden god of war, he transformed formed a fist seal. The aura in his body was like a waterfall, and blurry stars came out one after another, erupting with the most powerful combat strength. Chapter 136. The mountains trembled, and the sun and moon lost their light. Deafening explosions tore through the sky one after another. The tremors caused the surrounding people's chi and blood to roil. They almost fell to the ground. Retreat! Get away from here! Some people screamed in fear and ran away faster than a rabbit. That was because the moment they collided, the energy ripples were enough to destroy everything. Su Yan's fist and Zhu Yan's palm collided. Waves of energy ripples swept through the vast mountain forest. For a moment, the area where they were fighting became a no-man's land. Not even a blade of grass grew, and large cracks could be seen everywhere. How can Su Yin be so strong? The young men felt their hair stand on end. Their hearts were filled with disbelief. Su Yin was actually fighting head-on with the war god Zhu Yan. This had overturned their thinking. Buzz! Each of Zhu Yan's palms had the power to blot out the sun. Wave after wave. Each palm was filled with purple light as it struck towards Su Yin. Su Yan's fist was like the sun. It was suffused with the power to destroy armies. His body was like an ancient star. He had borrowed Zhu Yan's strength, and his body was unshakable. This scene alarmed all the spectators. The great shame and humiliation in Zhu Yan's heart reverberated. He let out an angry roar as his battle strength increased. His palms became resplendent, and when they chopped down, they could crush mountains. Come! Su Yin looked up to the sky and laughed. His blood essence was boiling. His flesh was like a piece of divine iron, emitting an aura of invincibility. This was a great battle at the pinnacle. The two powerhouses clashed, and every move they made shook the heavens and the earth. Every move they made was a killing move. Rumble! The surrounding people saw that Zhu Yin was becoming more and more tyrannical. His whole body was surging with purple energy. The sound of scriptures was transmitted from his body. His body released a shocking divine charm. Every move he made exuded the divine might of a king. This was the power of the king physique at work. This kind of physique was born with astonishing battle strength. Not to mention, Zhu Yin had opened a divine grade Dao gate. His combat power soared to the extreme. For a moment, purple gas filled the sky and pressed down on Su Yin. Suffocating fluctuations filled the air as they swept down from all directions, as if they had turned into a purple furnace. What a terrifying ability! The onlookers could feel how terrifying the purple furnace was. Their chi and blood were about to dry up. The vacuum they had been refining had turned into a huge black hole that directly pressed down on Su Yin. Su Yin remained motionless. He stood tall between the heavens and earth, his entire body radiating a golden radiance. Under the state of one with a weapon, the power of the sun opening fist became even more tyrannical. Su Yin could be said to be an immovable cauldron that sat between the heavens and earth. The cauldron even began to awaken on its own, gushing with starlight. It was as if the Milky Way was flowing out and running through Su Yan's forelimbs. At this moment, Su Yin was like a heavy weapon. Along with Su Yan's eruption, each and every move was filled with power that reached the heavens and earth. They struck the purple furnace until it trembled. Zhu Yin was furious. This was originally his astral body, but now it had been taken by Su Yin. Boom! The battle became even more intense. Su Yin charged forward. The moment the beginning sutra was activated, his body seemed to communicate with the power of heaven and earth. For a moment, his combat power rose sharply. He raised his fist and attacked with the wavering light fist, cracking a corner of the purple furnace. Zhu Yan's eyes turned red. Su Yin clearly only had an ordinary physique, so how could he erupt with the power of a king physique? Two king physiques fought here. Divine light rushed into the heavens, shocking everyone. Under normal circumstances, a king physique could suppress an ordinary physique. One of Zhu Yan's trump cards had been crippled. Could this legendary Mother Sutra really be so heaven-defying? He didn't even dare to think about it. Once he obtained the Mother Sutra, it might allow his physique to continuously evolve and even evolve into a supreme physique. Inconceivable! Some people trembled in fear as they saw Zhu Yan's fist dripping with blood. Su Yan's body is too terrifying. Zhu Yan opened a divine-grade Dao gate, but in close combat, he couldn't block the power of Su Yan's body. Don't forget that Zhu Yan has a king physique. Some people were scared. Just how tyrannical did one's body need to be? If that's all you have, then surrender. Su Yan's eyes were filled with a shocking, killing intent. His life cauldron was extremely strong. When combined with Su Yan's body, his body could be said to be made of divine iron. He was beating Zhu Yan until he was about to collapse. I have my own methods to kill you. Zhu Yan was furious. At this moment, the blood in his body roared on its own. His entire body was filled with a terrifying aura, as if a god had drilled out of his body. He has divine blood in his body. Tai Baokai was shocked. Be careful, don't fight him head-on. This was the power of the bloodline, and it was extremely terrifying. Zhu Yan seemed to have turned into a purple god at this time. The moment the bloodline in his body burned, the onlookers trembled and felt as if they were about to kneel on the ground and kowtow. Zhu Yan's aura rose sharply. The ancient divine blood in his body was circulating. It was filled with a terrifying divine substance. At this moment, Su Yan's body was about to explode. He was aghast. How could this bloodline be so terrifying? Tai Baokai was anxious. Zhu Yan was forced into a corner. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used the divine blood. After all, Zhu Yan hadn't cultivated to a high level. Once the divine blood was used, it would consume some of its divinity. In the future, it would be of little help to Zhu Yan. Boom! With the help of the divine blood, Zhu Yan's palm strike almost shattered Su Yan's fist. Su Yan was forced to take a few steps back. Zhu Yan's aura was extremely powerful. He was like a purple god. At the moment he swooped down, the divine blood in his body circulated and shone on Su Yan's body. This divine force contained an astonishing power that could lock down a strong enemy. It originated from the suppression of the bloodline. Su Yan clenched his fists. At this moment, his bloodline was boiling. Suppressed by Zhu Yan's divine blood, he erupted with a monstrous fury. His bloodline was like a roaring golden ocean that wanted to shatter the heavens. Scram! Su Yan let out a furious roar. He was like an angry war god. The bloodline in his body was boiling, and a blurry golden ocean was activated. It was filled with an aura that could slaughter gods and destroy immortals. Zhu Yan coughed out a mouthful of blood. The divine blood in his body seemed to have evaporated, and his aura weakened by a lot. Impossible. Zhu Yan was horrified. How could Su Yan's bloodline be so strong? Tai Baokai was also stunned. How could Su Yan's bloodline suppress the divine blood? What level was his bloodline at? The surrounding people were also stunned. Zhu Yan originally had the upper hand, but now he was facing the backlash of his own bloodline. Bam! Su Yan took advantage of the situation and rushed forward. He raised his fist and punched at Zhu Yan. I really want to capture you alive more and more. Zhu Yan didn't feel defeated at all. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Su Yan, who was getting closer and closer. The divine blood in his body was awakened again. However, this time, the divine blood in his body started to gather towards the life spring. The 3 divine-grade Dao gates were also burned to the extreme. The divine power contained in the Dao gates was released and penetrated into the life spring. At this moment, Zhu Yan's body was rippling with an unparalleled aura. The moment a seal containing a monstrous amount of divine essence appeared, it instantly woke up. Boom! Zhu Yan's life seal, which was made from divine materials, floated in the air. This seal was a lot more terrifying than before. It was like a huge mountain floating in the air. On the seal, countless law patterns flashed. How is this possible? The surrounding people were stunned. Their brains almost short-circuited. The seal shone brightly and covered the sky. This was the seal and Zhu Yan becoming one. At this moment, the sky shook and the earth shook. Everything exploded with the seal. Oh no! Su Yan's expression changed. He heard Zhu Yan's chanting voice. It was as if an ancient god was chanting scriptures. Great mystique, heaven-flipping seal. Every syllable was majestic and extraordinary. It was as if an earth-shattering vision had appeared in the sky. Su Yan's hair stood on end. Zhu Yan had mastered a great mystique and even the heaven-flipping seal. Su Yan, watch out. The fat man was terrified. This was a legendary great mystique. There wasn't even one in the entire Huaxia Alliance. Who would have thought that Zhu Yan had mastered a great mystique? Once this great mystique was activated, he would be invincible in the same realm. Moreover, Zhu Yan's combat power was higher than Su Yan's. Suppress. The seal flew across the sky and suddenly fell in an invincible manner. At this moment, everyone was suffocating. Some people could vaguely see hundreds of thousands of mountains pressing down on Su Yan. Big Dipper Fist. Su Yan used two lesser mystiques in succession. He used Mizar to protect his body and Radiant Light to protect his body. He was like a blurry star, facing the heaven flipping seal with his strongest form. However, the flipping sky seal was too terrifying. When it came crashing down, the ground in all directions caved in. Even the mountains in the distance collapsed on their own. The aura of the flipping sky seal swept out, causing all the spectators to fall to the ground and tremble. In an instant, the heaven-flipping seal suppressed everything within a radius of dozens of miles. Ah! Su Yan roared. His entire body was distorted. The heaven-flipping seal was pressing down on his body, making him feel as if he had been struck by lightning. His internal organs were about to shatter. This was the terrifying part of a great mystique. If Su Yan didn't have the natal cauldron to protect his body, he would have been crushed in one blow. Kiki. Zhu Yan's sinister voice sounded. He walked out of the heaven-flipping seal and looked at Su Yan, who was being suppressed. He laughed proudly. Su Yan is Su Yan. You still fell into my hands. Ha ha. Have mercy. A furious voice came from afar. Xiaozhe and the rest had rushed over. They had just broken into Zhu Yan's lair and seen many things. Their eyes were bloodshot. Who would have thought that Zhu Yan had been in contact with the beasts? Kiki. Zhu Yan looked back at Xiaozhe and the rest. He smiled coldly and took out a storage bag. He wanted to put Su Yan inside. He would use the cruelest means to make Su Yan tell him everything he knew. Chance. Seeing Zhu Yan open the storage bag, Su Yan trembled. He had sensed the aura of the Tower of Trials. Originally, Su Yan wanted to use the chi of the earth veins to forcefully open the heaven-flipping seal. This way, he would have a chance to fight for his life. Su Yan's laughter gave Zhu Yan an ominous premonition. Smash him to death. Chapter 137. SSS. Those who had rushed over were all in awe, especially the youths. They were in disbelief. The Tower of Trials was clearly a treasure that Zhu Yan had taken from Huaxia University. How could Su Yan control the Tower of Trials? Back when Zhu Yan had taken the training grounds, he had studied it for a period of time. Unfortunately, he couldn't refine the imprint in the Tower of Trials, so this matter had been put on hold. But who would have thought that Su Yan could control the Tower of Trials? Boom! His storage pouch burst open and countless treasures tumbled out. There are all kinds of treasures here. So many treasures. They're blinding this beast god's eyes. Tai Baokai pounced forward excitedly. But before he could get close to the treasures, the Tower of Trials had already awakened. Boom! The 10-story Tower of Trials exuded a heaven-piercing power. It was surrounded by a beam of light that shot into the sky. This tower was blazing terrifyingly. The body of the tower was comparable to an ancient mountain, and it vaguely reached into the sky. This treasure tower was dazzling with silver light. It was surrounded by a beam of divinity, and its aura pierced through the sky. The majestic tower was about to burst the void. Thousands of beams of divine light rained down, one after another. It was like the waves of the 9 heavens. Damn, this is a precious treasure. Who would be so wasteful as to use so many divine materials to refine this treasure tower? Tai Baotsai's eyes turned red. The power of this Tower of Trials was extremely shocking. It was completely refined from divine materials and contained a terrifying amount of divinity. Generally speaking, Dharma idol weapons could change in size because they were mixed with a small amount of divine materials. But this Tower of Trials had a total of 10 stories. How many divine materials did it require? Be *starred. Zhu Yan's eyes widened in anger. He had even used the flipping sky seal. Even if he couldn't suppress Su Yan, Zhu Yan wouldn't be defeated. But now that things had taken turn for the worse, Zhu Yan felt like vomiting blood. He had worked so hard to obtain the Tower of Trials, but Xiaze had taken advantage of him. However, the Tower of Trials had always been Su Yan's treasure. Now it was being controlled by Su Yan to turn the tables. It's too difficult to revive it. Could it be that the quality of this Tower of Trials exceeds that of a Dharma armament? Su Yan staggered and almost fell. The divine power in his body had been depleted. This gave him goosebumps. The energy required to activate the training tower was too vast. Rumble. At this moment, everything within a radius of 1,000 miles was shaking. Countless mountains were disintegrating on their own, and mountain ranges were sinking down one after another. The countless onlookers were about to collapse under the aura of the Tower of Trials. This was a divine pagoda that was resplendent and overflowed into the heavens. Divine light poured down like a waterfall, and each pagoda had a silver door. When the 10 silver doors opened, they emitted an aura that suppressed the universe. Inside the doors sat 10 blurry and slender figures. Bamboo Moon. Su Yan panted heavily. Every level of the divine pagoda had a brand that transformed into a peerlessly beautiful figure that was as ethereal as an immortal. Their graceful bearing was peerless, and they caused the heaven and earth to rumble and the sun and moon to resonate. Su Yan understood now. The Tower of Trials was Bamboo Moon's natal treasure, just like Su Yan's natal cauldron. Why do I feel like the Tower of Trials is only unleashing 10 to 20% of its power? How strong is it? Or how strong is Bamboo Moon? The Tower of Trials was already terrifying enough. As it sank, everything sank. Su Yan, who was locked in place, the golden armor on his body shattered layer by layer. Even he was about to turn into a pile of ash. God of War Su Yan. The people from the Young Strong faction were going crazy. Daozu was about to fall at the hands of Su Yan, at the hands of the creation he had stolen. Rumble. Su Yan let out a wild roar. At this moment, his life springs lit up and spewed out layers of treasure light. This was a total of more than 10 secret treasures. They shot out like lightning and smashed towards the divine pagoda that was falling from the sky. A deafening explosion resounded through the heavens and the earth. This was an unprecedented collision. Under everyone's astonished gazes, more than 10 secret treasures exploded one after another as the Tower of Trials fell. Many people felt their hearts ache. More than 10 secret treasures were destroyed just like that. However, these secret treasures gave Su Yan a certain amount of time to escape. He recovered to the extreme and charged forward, escaping the suppression of the Tower of Trials. When the Tower of Trials fell, a huge black crack appeared in the area. It was as if a huge canyon had collapsed. There were also screams that could be heard. It was a horrifying sight. What? Su Yan was shocked. Su Yan had actually escaped, but one of his legs had been crushed into meat paste. Rumble. The bronze chariot came back to life and spat out the 9 swords. Then, it sucked Su Yan into the chariot and carried him away quickly. Where do you think you're going? Su Yan stored the Tower of Trials into the Phoenix hairpin. He activated the Chi of the earth and summoned the 9 bronze swords. He chased after Su Yan. If he could not kill Su Yan this time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Yan, you're treacherous. You dared to kill Su Yan and even set him up. A large group of people from the Young Strong faction rushed out to stop Su Yan and buy time for Su Yan. Get out of my way. Su Yan did not make a move. Xiaze was furious. He summoned the Heaven Stabilizing Bell. Suddenly, the Heaven Stabilizing Bell rumbled and shook. Golden ripples spread out in all directions, forcing a bloody path out. Some people's ears were ringing. They did not know if it was because of the Heaven Stabilizing Bell or because they were frightened by Xiaze's cruelty. What was he trying to do? Xiaze. Some people from the Young Strong faction were terrified. Xiaze had started a massacre. Was he going to kill Su Yan? Whoever dares to help Su Yan will be killed without mercy. Xiaze's cold voice rumbled in the sky. I've already investigated. Su Yan has betrayed the Huaxia alliance long ago. The evidence is conclusive. I swear with my life that if I have wronged Su Yan, I will kill myself to atone for my sins. The entire wilderness was in an uproar. A year ago, it was the Shura. Now it was Zhu Yin. Xiaozhe wants to kill Zhu Yin. He wants to be the emperor of the Huaxia Alliance. Don't be fooled. Xiaozhe and Su Yin are greedy wolves. They want to control the Huaxia Alliance. Don't be fooled. That's right. Once Zhu Yin falls, you, Xiaozhe, will be able to do whatever you want. Zhu Yin, the god of war, will never fall. He is the leader of the Huaxia Alliance. The young strong faction was furious. They stood out to criticize Xiaozhe. A large group of experts also rushed forward to watch the battle. Xiaozhe was too lazy to talk to them. He was also chasing after Zhu Yin. Zhu Yin, you won't be able to escape. Surrender. Su Yan's body glowed as he absorbed the energy from the source stones to replenish his energy. He had used up all the divine power in his body to summon the Tower of Trials. This treasure could not be used carelessly. Layers of earth energy emerged. Su Yin stepped on the earth energy and rushed forward. He summoned the 9 bronze swords and chased after the bronze chariot. Zhu Yin sat cross-legged in the blood-stained chariot. His face was cold as he laughed sinisterly. You ants, I will make you regret this. You want to convict me? In this world, only I, Zhu Yin, can convict others. Boom! The bronze chariot rumbled as it charged toward the 9th base at an extremely fast speed. Xiaozhe said that Zhu Yin had betrayed the Huaxia Alliance long ago. I don't believe it at all. Yeah, why would war god Zhu Yin betray the Huaxia Alliance? If it weren't for him, the Huaxia Alliance wouldn't have had so many decades of peace. Look, war god Xiaozhe is here. Many residents of Base 9 stared at the wasteland, watching the bronze chariot charge toward the base. They had mixed feelings. They all admired Zhu Yin, but Su Yin was the #1 person in the first base. They were proud of that. But no matter what, war god Zhu Yan's contributions to the Huaxia Alliance were witnessed by all of them. Kill all of you. Don't let Su Yin enter the 9th base. If it weren't for the Tower of Trials, war god Zhu Yin wouldn't have lost. A large group of people from the Young Strong faction rushed out from the 9th base. They took out all kinds of weapons to protect war god Zhu Yin. Su Yin, don't let him in. Stop him. Tai Baotsai's roar gave Su Yin an ominous premonition. What was Zhu Yin trying to do by rushing toward the 9th base like a madman? Eject. The divine power in Su Yan's body had recovered quite a bit. The 9 bronze fatal swords struck at the speed of lightning. One after another, they shone brightly and emitted sword glows as they charged at Zhu Yan's bronze chariot. Rumble. The bronze chariot rumbled. Zhu Yin, who was sitting in the chariot with his legs crossed, looked like he was struck by lightning. He coughed up blood, but the bronze chariot's defense was amazing. It blocked the power of the 9 bronze fatal swords. Su Yin, you set Zhu Yin up. You deserve to die. Brothers, let's go. We can't let Su Yin succeed. War god Zhu Yin has contributed greatly to the Huaxia Alliance. We must stop this crazy Su Yin. Kill. In the 9th base, many powerful cultivators were extremely angry. Their blood was boiling. Most of them were willing to sacrifice their lives for the Huaxia Alliance. Now, they rushed out of the gate of the 9th base to protect Zhu Yin. Kiki, very good, very good. Seeing thousands of cultivators rushing out, Zhu Yin laughed. Now is the time for you to sacrifice your lives for me. Protect me and quell the rebellion. Rumble. The bronze chariot suddenly burst into flames. The chariot quickly enlarged and became a bronze mountain. It covered the sky and the sun. It flowed down with a ferocious power that could destroy all living things. The sky and the earth were silent. The bronze chariot covered 10 miles and smashed down, crushing the cultivators who rushed out of the city. Even the high walls were crushed by the chariot. The chariot's mouth glowed. Zhu Yan's face was ferocious. He looked up to the sky and roared. His mouth was filled with a monstrous devouring power. As he breathed in and out, countless blood essences were swallowed into his stomach. The blood essences of the fallen cultivators turned into a vast source of energy and gathered in Zhu Yan's body. At this moment, his weak aura skyrocketed. Sacrifice my people. Chapter 138. The blood-colored beast was extremely ferocious. The gigantic figure behind Zhu Yin blotted out the sky. When it opened its bloody mouth, even a moon in the sky turned a faint blood-red color. The sky seemed to have disappeared, swallowed by the blood-colored beast. Everyone was trembling in fear. First, the bronze chariot crushed countless cultivators to death. Then, they were swallowed by Zhu Yin. The moment Zhu Yin swallowed the essence blood of these dead cultivators, his weak aura became stronger rapidly. The essence blood even strengthened the weak divine blood in his body. He forced out the power of his bloodline ability and turned it into a beast that wanted to devour the sky. The Tao Tai bloodline has awakened the ability to devour. The Tai Baokai was furious. It knew how terrifying this bloodline was. Once it embarked on a vicious path, it would devour billions of lives as food. As for the adult Tao Tai, it would feed on the gods and demons in the sky. This was an extremely terrifying bloodline. Impossible. The young men who were chasing after her were almost scared to death. Was this still Zhu Yin? Was this still the god of war? He had sacrificed so many lives. The ninth base was covered in a bloody light. It was as if doomsday had arrived. The Tao Tai phantom moved again. When it swallowed, the entire ninth base almost exploded. A large number of lives were sucked into its bloody mouth and fell into its stomach. Sacrifice, my people. Zhu Yan's temperament was sacred and solemn. He sat cross-legged in the bronze chariot, awakening the power of his divine blood to the extreme. He wanted to sacrifice millions of lives. Zhu Yan, you bastard, bastard, an old man shouted. His granddaughter had been swallowed into the bloody purgatory. Her eyes were filled with despair as she stared at her grandfather. The old man couldn't bear it and let out a heart-wrenching cry. Everything happened too quickly. The entire ninth base had become a purgatory. Some people found it hard to accept. Who would have thought that Zhu Yin would do such a thing? Now, Zhu Yin was blocking the gate, activating her Tao Tai bloodline, and transforming into a ferocious beast. She was going to devour all the residents of the ninth base. Zhu Yin stopped. Xiaozhe summoned the heaven-stabilizing bell and rushed forward. He shouted, "Stop!" The heaven-stabilizing bell struck, but the bronze chariot was already activated to the extreme. No matter how strong the heaven-stabilizing bell was, it was not a Dharma weapon. Instead, it was shaken by the bronze chariot. When Zhu Yin swallowed countless lives, his aura became even more terrifying. The blood essence of the Tao Tai bloodline was a great nourishment. The Tao Tai bloodline gathered human body medicine and gathered in his life spring. At this moment, Zhu Yan's life spring trembled violently. The fourth divine grade Dao Gate was beginning to awaken. Originally, I was prepared to wait for you all to mature before harvesting. However, you all wanted a rebel, so I had no choice but to suppress you with iron and blood. Zhu Yan's cruel response enraged the cultivators of the Huaxia Alliance. They were treated as spiritual medicine fields. When they were ripe, Zhu Yin would harvest them. We have to stop it. Although it won't be easy for Zhu Yin to swallow so many creatures, it will temporarily gain a lot of strength. Once Zhu Yin goes crazy and slaughters the strongest batch of the Huaxia Alliance, the Huaxia Alliance will not be able to rise again. The Tai Baokai was furious. Instead, it turned around and rushed toward Huaxia City. That was the sad thing about the newly awakened ancient life stars. Some ancient life stars would be ruled by the Huaxia Alliance. The lucky ones would die, and the unlucky ones would be sold and become slaves for the rest of their lives. Rumble. Disaster befell the ninth base. Countless residents were swallowed by the Tao Ye's giant mouth and turned into food to nourish Zhu Yan's divine power. He was going to open the fourth gate. Who can kill this bastard? Zhu Yan is right. Zhu Yan must be an alien. He is an alien. He has been plotting against our Earth. Bastard, give me back my son. Some people roared. Some people were not afraid of death. They rushed over and wanted to stop Zhu Yan, but it was useless. Zhu Yan's current state was too strong. With the bronze chariot, the Tao Ye's bloodline was devouring the blood of the creatures and turning it into divine power nourishment to help him start to break through. Rumble. The 9 bronze swords slashed forward. Zhu Yan used all his strength. Although the bronze chariot was shaking, Zhu Yin was passively defending. The bronze chariot was suppressed by the bronze chariot. For a time, the bronze swords could not move the ancient chariot at all. "Bastard, give me your life." The angry voice exploded. A bright light beam soared from the ninth base and penetrated the entire ninth base. It caused the rules of heaven and earth to roar. Yu Yiling's current battle strength was very strong. She opened a heavenly rank Dao gate and brought out a great killing weapon. She wanted to stop Zhu Yan's crazy actions. Ho! The Taoyu's phantom let out a loud roar. The roar shattered the boundless space. A large number of residents were roared to pieces. Yu Yiling's aura was riddled with holes from the roar. This great killing weapon was forcefully suppressed by Zhu Yan's outstretched palm. The Taoyu's giant mouth was extremely turbulent. Bloody light poured down like a waterfall. The moment it swallowed, the sun and moon lost their light. The heavens and earth shook. Yu Yiling felt a powerful attack coming at her. She found it hard to resist and was swallowed by the suction force of the giant mouth. No! The entire Huaxiao alliance trembled. This was Huaxia University's most outstanding proud daughter of heaven. She had already opened a heavenly rank Dao gate, but now she was swallowed by the Taoyu's power. Rumble! At this critical juncture, Su Yin rushed over. His entire body rippled with overflowing golden light. His footsteps scattered countless formation scars that densely covered the entire ninth base. "Rise for me!" Su Yin roared toward the sky. His aura caused the laws of heaven and earth to rumble. His primordial spirit brought out the source pen. At this moment, Su Yin seemed to have become one with the entire ninth base. From this moment on, the earth vein energy of the ninth base rose from the ground. Thousands upon thousands of essence energy springs emerged layer by layer. They turned into a huge energy beam that sealed the entire ninth base. Su Yin, it's Su Yin. The residents of the ninth base were terrified. Seeing this scene, their blood boiled. They let out a heaven-shaking roar. "Su Yin, it's Su Yin." At this moment, Su Yin seemed to have the ability to pierce through the heavens and earth. He erupted with the most powerful strange arts, stirring up the earth vein energy. This earth vein energy faintly turned into a giant dragon. It stabilized the crumbling ninth base and blocked the Taoyu's power. Cold sweat broke out on Yu Yiling's back. Just a moment ago, she was almost eaten by Zhu Yin. Zhu Yin's expression was cold. He didn't expect Su Yin to have a hidden card. He didn't expect him to be in charge of the source pen. Boom! The bronze chariot rose from the ground. Zhu Yin didn't stop. He rushed towards Huaxia City like a bolt of lightning. Even the fourth gate in his body was faintly opened to the extreme. It was about to open. "All of you have to die. A bunch of natives, none of you can live." Zhu Yin smiled cruelly. Once the fourth gate was opened, his battle strength would surge again. At that time, even if Su Yin controlled the dragon vein energy, it would be difficult to suppress him. On. Draconic chi filled the sky and surged along with Su Yin's anger. Su Yin pushed the earth vein chi of the entire ninth base and turned it into a giant dragon. It spat out 9 bronze killing swords and slashed at the bronze war chariot. Suppress. Su Yin roared and pushed the strongest power to continuously suppress the bronze chariot. However, no matter how fast Su Yin was, he couldn't be faster than the bronze chariot. It broke through the layers of vacuum and rushed to Huaxia City. This scene frightened Lu Chengtian and others. Once Zhu Yin rushed to Huaxia City, the consequences would be unimaginable. Huaxia City was full of elites of Huaxia Alliance. There were at least tens of millions of awakened cultivators. Once Zhu Yin swallowed some awakened cultivators, Zhu Yin's battle strength would certainly skyrocket. Maybe he would be promoted to the 5th heavenly layer of Dao Gate. Boom! It was at this moment that the roars of beasts could be heard from the mountains and valleys all around base number 9. An endless army of wild beasts was rushing towards the 9th base. This also included the Monster Kings, and even the Monster Kings who had opened the Tao Gate. For a time, thousands of miles were trembling. Countless wild beasts were out of their cages and madly rushed to the ninth base. Bastard! Xiaze and others roared angrily. It must be Zhu Yan who launched the army of wild beasts to attack the ninth base to delay them. After all, Zhu Yan had a part of the bloodline of the mythical beast. All the Monster Kings respected him. Xiaze and others also knew that no matter how strong Zhu Yan was, they could definitely kill Zhu Yan as long as they joined hands. No matter how strong Zhu Yan was, he couldn't resist the tens of millions of soldiers of Huaxia Alliance. Zhu Yan, don't waste your energy. You can't catch up with me. When I recover, it will be the time of your death. If you dare to hide, the entire Huaxia Alliance will be destroyed. Zhu Yan's cold voice exploded between heaven and earth. His voice frightened everyone. Was Daozu going to sacrifice the entire Huaxia Alliance and billions of living creatures? Now all the soldiers in Huaxia City were on alert. However, Zhu Yan's ferocious qi was too horrible. The gate of Huaxia City was trembling. It seemed that it was going to collapse. Zhu Yan was furious. He wanted to use the training tower to fight, but the training tower was too powerful. It was difficult for him to control it. Zhu Yan, give me your life. Suddenly, an old lion rushed out of the gate of the ninth base, emitting a thunderous anger. It's Lei Lao. The residents of Huaxia City were shocked. Lei Lao not only rushed out, but also opened the heavenly grade Taoist gate. Thunder and lightning were rolling all over his body, and he took out a huge thunder hammer. At this moment, Lei Lao was extraordinary. He rushed out alone and rushed to Zhu Yan. Old man, you can't stop him. Go. Zhu Yan felt that there was still a chance. He could control part of the qi of Dragon Fountain in Huaxia City. He should be able to force away the obstruction and interrupt Zhu Yan's breakthrough. Zhu Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lei Lao rushed out. He also sighed for the Lei Lao who was killed in those years. Ant-like thing, I'll sacrifice you alive. Zhu Yan awakened the Tao Tai bloodline again. A huge mouth was awakened behind him. The moment it opened its bloody maw, the world seemed to turn into a blood-red purgatory. Within its maw, there was an endless amount of resentment and hatred. This was the resentment and hatred left behind by the lives of those who had died. Devouring the qi of living creatures could indeed enhance Zhu Yan's strength. However, the more he devoured, the greater the danger he would encounter. Bao Kai Go gave him a big treasure. Unexpectedly, Lei Lao stopped and cursed in a low voice. He was not brave anymore. He would not be so stupid to die. Tai Bao Kai, who was on his back, suddenly climbed to Lei Lao's head and sat on it. It almost paralyzed Lei Lao and killed him on the ground. Tai Bao Kai was wearing a red belly band. A treasure bowl covered on its head suddenly blazed. The inner space of the treasure bowl spat out a huge battleship. Huaxia No. 1. The soldiers in Huaxia City were excited. They recalled the difficult years of the Huaxia Alliance decades ago. When Huaxia No. 1 was dug out, it saved countless Huaxia people. It was the hero of the Huaxia Alliance. Let me give you a taste of the big move that I, Bao Kai, have prepared for you. Tai Bao Kai grinned. The door of the battleship was opened. The horrible stench drifted out, which almost made Lei Lao faint. Chapter 139. First of all, what made Zhu Yan's face turn black was the object that Tai Bao Kai took out. It was a stone tablet densely covered with mysterious patterns. Although it was only half the size of a palm, it contained the power of divinity. This was a secret treasure carved out of divine materials. When Tai Bao Kai used it, it actually sealed the world, and even Zhu Yan was sealed. Zhu Yan sensed a familiar aura from this stone tablet. He immediately understood that Tai Bao Kai had used this treasure to trick him. This treasure was so powerful that it could even suppress the bronze chariot. But unfortunately, the stone tablet disintegrated in an instant. Tai Bao Kai was very distressed. This was a kind of treasure, which was equivalent to a kind of Aura disk. It could erupt with extremely strong power once, but it could only be used a limited number of times. This was the last time. However, Tai Bao Kai did not regret it. The energy of the stone tablet locked Tao Ye's huge mouth. When Huaxia number 1 appeared, some soldiers were still reminiscing about their bitter history. But the next scene made their faces turn black. Huaxia number 1 emitted a foul smell. Lei Lao wanted to kick Tai Baokai. Just before, Tai Baokai rushed to Huaxia University and wanted to use Huaxia number 1. Lei Lao did not refuse. But who knew that Tai Baokai found a few large cesspools and used Huaxia number 1 to transport them away? Lei Lao almost fainted from anger. But now that he saw Zhu Yan's miserable appearance, he felt relieved. Eat shit, Lei Lao said with a black face. Many people who rushed with Zhu Yan were scared silly. All kinds of disgusting liquid rolled down from Huaxia number 1 and into Tao Ye's bloody mouth. Other than this evil panda, who else could do such a thing? The students of Huaxia University had goosebumps all over their bodies. They thought that they would never provoke Tai Baokai in the future. The entire world quieted down. Everyone could feel the exploding flames of fury sweeping through the heavens and the earth. The bronze chariot was roaring and even began to tremble. Zhu Yan's whole body was distorted. He was so disgusted that he wanted to vomit, but he could not. Although it was said to be the power of the divine ability manifested from the bloodline, and Zhu Yan did not eat it, he was still extremely disgusted. He wished he could chop Tai Baokai into 8 pieces and make him suffer until there was nothing left. Look at how awesome you are. You are so awesome with the Tao Tai bloodline. Tai Baokai said disdainfully. Taste. Zhu Yan's hair stood on end, his face distorted. He was furious to the extreme, releasing a heaven-devouring roar. Under this terrible anger, his 4th Taoist gate suddenly collapsed. When it was opened, the light was overwhelming, and the divine power all over his body was blazing. Tai Baokai, I'm not done with you. Lei Lao was so angry that his face changed dramatically. Zhu Yan was so angry that he broke through the barrier and stepped into the 4th heaven of the Taoist gate realm. His combat power increased a lot. Tai Baokai did not say a word. He turned around and ran away as fast as he could. You're all going to die. You're all going to die. Zhu Yan roared crazily. His eyes were red and bloodshot, and his hair stood up. Let him eat shit. Let him eat shit. He was going to slaughter the whole city. Boom! The land within hundreds of miles was shaking. Countless ancient trees exploded. His overturning aura broke out. The gate of Huaxia City was blown into pieces. His aura rushed into the city and made a street collapse. Boom! Just when Zhu Yan's killing intent was about to run through the whole Huaxia City, a golden body stood at the gate of Huaxia City. He was holding a golden iron rod and 9 big killing swords on his back. He was standing at the gate of the city. Zhu Yan, I'll give you another chance. If you can step into the city, I, Zhu Yan, will let you kill me. The resolute voice exploded between heaven and earth and spread over the whole Huaxia City. It's Zhu Yan. Tens of millions of residents in Huaxia City were excited. They recalled the words that Zhu Yan said here 1 year ago. Now, 1 year later, they confronted each other here again. Zhu Yan, my good brother, I won't kill you, but I will peel off your skin and imprison your primordial spirit in the furnace for thousands of years. I will let you suffer all kinds of torture. In the periphery of Huaxia City, the divine light rushed to the sky, and the purple qi filled the sky. Zhu Yan was standing in the bronze chariot. His whole divine aura ran through the sky. The 4 divine-grade Taoist gates were running around him, which made him powerful and horrible. Boom! A giant purple hand stretched out from the bronze chariot and covered dozens of miles. The purple hand was intertwined with the bright purple rules and was full of the divine aura. It was called the Hand of God. When it came down, it broke the city wall. Boom! Zhu Yan stepped on the sky. His clothes were fluttering in the wind. At this moment, the whole Huaxia City was roaring. Compared with the time when Zhu Yan operated the qi of the dragon vein with the help of the dragon controlling formation a year ago, the qi of the dragon vein was much fiercer. Tens of millions of qi of dragon vein in the whole Huaxia City were boiling with Zhu Yan. They turned into rolling dragon-shaped giant pillars and broke out with Su Yin. Boom! Su Yin shouted angrily and jumped into the sky. He turned into the center of the formation and guided the chi of earth veins all over the sky to run through his body and into the natal cauldron. Suddenly, someone saw an ancient star rising into the sky and shining the sky, which was dazzling. God of War Su Yin. The soldiers from the ninth base were boiling with excitement. Boom! Under the starry sky, Su Yin was dazzling. He clenched his fists and smashed through the sky. When the chi of earth veins all over the sky was boiling, the whole Huaxia city was undulating. As for the huge purple hand that covered the sky, it was shattered by Su Yan's fist. My good brother, you can't stop me. Even if you borrow the chi of earth veins in the whole Huaxia city, or a part of the chi of dragon vein. Su Yin regained his calmness and the power to control the overall situation. His breath was gradually horrible. The breath of the four divine-grade Taoist sects intertwined with each other. For a time, Su Yan's whole divine breath was overwhelming. He was like a god in the ancient times, exuding the power of a king. Another great divine power. The people in the field were horrified. Su Yin had mastered a great divine power, the flipping sky seal. Now he'd stepped into the fourfold heaven. The great divine power was more horrible. The power of rules all over the sky fell down and penetrated Su Yin. He turned into a king and looked down at the whole Huaxia city. Boom! His life seal has been awakened. With Su Yan's hand seals, one after another, the power of overturning the universe swept across the whole area. At this moment, Huaxia city seems to be turned over. The cultivators in the city are suffocating and depressed. Surrender. The heaven and the earth roared. The sun and the moon were dim. Su Yin seemed to turn into an ancient treasure. A terrible seal was born, covering the sky and the sun. The seal was flowing with the strongest and most domineering breath. The void was distorted, and the whole Huaxia city was about to collapse. It was a suffocating scene. The flipping sky seal had concealed Su Yin. The bronze chariot was guarding Su Yan's body. His natal artifact evolved the flipping sky seal. When the seal fell down, the sky collapsed and the earth collapsed. Ghosts cried and gods howled. Everything collapsed with the flipping sky seal. Under this peerless pressure, Su Yin roared to the sky. His eyes were vertical. His whole body was flowing with the waves of stars. The natal cauldron was operated to the extreme. The power of the star river gushed out from the mouth of the cauldron and penetrated Su Yan's limbs and bones. His body turned into an ancient star, intertwined with the power of the brilliant light. The two great divine powers were combined. For a time, Su Yan's breath soared. Rumble. Even so, with Su Yan's fighting strength, it was difficult for him to block the flipping sky seal. In the end, it still pressed down. With a rumbling sound, it collapsed the sky. Just as it was about to touch Su Yan's head, Su Yan's aura became even more ferocious. He let out a furious roar that could shatter mountains and rivers. With his most powerful form, he once again performed a divine ability. Big Dipper Punch, Brilliant Light, Mizar Alyath. The three roars were deafening. The power of the star river poured out from his natal cauldron again and penetrated his limbs and bones. Su Yan's body transmitted the sound of the stars crashing. His bones seemed to have turned into the bones of the sky, turned into the star river, and built the starry sky. Su Yan let out a long roar. His whole body was dazzling with golden light. When the three great divine powers were operated to the extreme, they were combined. At this moment, Su Yan's whole body soared with a wisp of air, penetrating the sky and causing the stars in the outer space to flash with light. At this moment, Su Yan seemed to have communicated with the eternal starry sky and the three super ancient stars of the Big Dipper star area. His body was flowing with waves of horrible chi. His body seemed to have turned into a terrible star, which was full of a loud sound that could shatter the universe. Kill. The three fists combined into one and evolved the power of the Big Dipper Punch. The terrible star collided with the flipping sky seal. The whole Huaxia city was shaking under these loud noises. The energy ripples of the collision swept across the universe and destroyed countless buildings. Under the fanatical gaze of the audience, the flipping sky seal was cracked by the collision, but the star body that Su Yin turned into almost exploded. Puff! Zhu Yin coughed up a mouthful of blood and almost rolled out of the bronze chariot. There was hatred in his eyes. The Big Dipper punch combined with 3 great divine powers was definitely not enough to shake the flipping sky seal. However, the natal cauldron refined by the star body was too powerful. It helped Su Yin to resist the most powerful attack. Otherwise, Su Yin would have been disintegrated by the flipping sky seal. Boom! Under the fanatical gazes of the surrounding people, Su Yin was like an enraged god of war. Cracks suddenly appeared on his body, but his bones were firm and unyielding. His aura surged once again. He stirred up the energy of the earth vein and a portion of the energy of the dragon vein. Boom! Su Yin rose from the ground, piercing through the clouds and mist. He was like a god soaring into the sky. Su Yin, can you kill me? Zhu Yin wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth. He laughed cruelly and said coldly, "You can't, my good brother. You can't stop me. Stubborn thing, I'll kill you, you bastard." Su Yin was bathed in blood. He swooped down, and the 9 great killing swords on his back were awakened. They faintly vibrated with the power of a true dragon. "My good brother, you can't." Zhu Yin shook his head. He revived the bronze chariot and rammed into Su Yin, who was rushing towards him. "Get over here and accept your death." As he approached the bronze chariot, the 9 great killing swords on Su Yin's back were fully awakened. Su Yin channeled all his strength, including the earth vein energy in the city, into the 9 great killing swords. At this moment, the sky darkened. It was as if an incomplete dragon body was slowly manifesting between heaven and earth. The 9 great killing swords lined up in the sky. They clanged and emitted an aura that could shatter the sky. The moment they came out, the killing swords burned to their limits. The dragon-shaped Tao marks on the swords were instantly awakened. Under the incredulous gazes of the audience, the 9 great killing swords were like 9 incomplete dragon bodies. When the 9 great killing swords combined together, they transformed into a true dragon sword embryo. It emitted a terrifying aura that caused the sky to tremble. Chapter 140. Su Yin was so tired that he almost fell to the ground. His face was pale, but there was a smile on his face. He had studied the 9-dragon sword and even asked the old Taoist about the operation of the 9-dragon sword. In the past, Tai Baokai had said that this was a domain-type divine weapon that could be combined together to release an extremely strong power. Su Yin knew that with his strength, it was impossible for him to combine the 9 dragons' treasured sword. However, he did the opposite. He used the chi of the earth veins to evolve the layout of the 9-dragon sword and force the power of the 9-dragon sword out. The result was that he succeeded. The chi of the earth veins in the entire Huaxia city was absorbed by the 9-dragon sword. This domain magic weapon finally exerted the power it should have. Boom! The whole Huaxia alliance was shocked by the recovery of the sword embryo in Huaxia city. Countless residents couldn't open their eyes because of the dazzling sword radiance. My God, look at Huaxia city. The soldiers of the 9th base were engaged in a bloody battle to stop the advance of the beast army. But now, the 9-dragon sword embryos in Huaxia city turned into a peerless killing sword when they were combined. It was like a giant dragon lying on the top of Huaxia city. It raised its head and roared. Thousands of thick sword radiance flowed around it, which contained the power of the Great Way. It was going to split the sky and cut down the stars in the universe. When the sword embryo came out, the moon fell from the sky, and the sword chi was like the sea. This was an extremely horrible vision, but it was like a real picture, which made the area within thousands of miles ripple with the peerless sword intent. It's Su Yin. What a horrible weapon. Zhu Yin is doomed. Kill him, we must kill him. All the residents of the Huaxia Alliance were staring at Huaxia City. They looked at the recovery of the peerless sword embryo, which was like a dragon lying down. At this moment, Su Yin jumped up and held the peerless sword embryo with both of his hands. Kill! A roar exploded between heaven and earth. Su Yin's hair was dancing wildly. He raised the peerless sword embryo with both of his hands and chopped down. It split the sky, broke the clouds, and tore the sky apart. Dao weapon. Zhu Yan's scalp went numb, and his heart was filled with fear. This was a Dao divine weapon that nurtured the power of Dao. Dao was above the rules, and once one comprehended Dao, he could be called a strong martial artist of the universe. It was extremely difficult to refine a Dao weapon. This sort of supreme treasure was considered a rare treasure, even in the prosperous cultivation world of the universe. But now, the 9 dragon-treasured swords had fused into a peerless sword embryo that contained the power of the Dao. This type of power was unstoppable. It could crush all things, slice apart the heavens, and forcefully kill great enemies. Rumble! Terrifying fissures spread out, and the dazzling sword light illuminated the starry sky. Even the countless wild beasts in Base 9 were frightened, and they fled in all directions. The might of this sword strike had scared them out of their wits. No! Zhu Yin let out an unwilling roar. No, I was wrong. I was wrong. Do it. I don't want to die here. I don't want to. Hurry up and do it. Zhu Yin was screaming, and his expression was flustered. This was also a confusing sound. He seemed to have a helper, but this helper was not doing anything. Zhu Yin was paralyzed. He was in despair, and there was no hope at all. What was the bronze chariot? In front of a Dao divine weapon, the bronze chariot was directly cut in half by this peerless sword embryo. Zhu Yin felt as if he was struck by lightning, and he felt a chill from head to toe. This sword strike struck the ground, and a huge crack spread out to Base 9, almost cutting the entire Base 9 apart. Everyone in the sky and on the ground who looked up to watch the battle felt their hearts beat faster. Just now, they felt as if their bodies and souls would be destroyed when the sword light struck. What kind of terrifying, supreme treasure was this? However, Su Yin felt that although the 9-dragon-treasured sword was strong, it was not as strong as the Tower of Trials that Bamboo Moon gave him. If he could master the power of the Tower of Trials, he would definitely be able to unleash an even more terrifying source of power. This sword strike was as powerful as the sea, and it intimidated the world. The entire Huaxiao alliance fell silent, and then a huge uproar broke out. Su Yin, God of War Su Yin, God of War Su Yin. Countless people shouted. From a moment Zhu Yin revealed his true face until now, less than half a day had passed. Zhu Yin was cut in half, from head to toe by Su Yan's sword. There was no way he could survive. Good. Xiaozhe clenched his fists. Zhu Yin was dead, and the biggest tumor in the Huaxiao alliance had been removed. Their sore point had also been eradicated. In the future, with them around, the wild beasts would no longer be a threat to them. The future of the Huaxiao alliance was bright. Chi. The 9-dragon-treasured sword broke apart and stabbed into the ground around Su Yin. It spewed out sword light and radiance. Su Yin knelt on the ground on one knee and gasped for breath. He had no strength at all. He also felt lucky that he could kill Zhu Yin this time because of the 9-dragon-treasured sword. Otherwise, who could stop Zhu Yin? They could only watch him slaughter the countless creatures in the Huaxiao alliance. Quack, quack, this treasure belongs to me, the beast god. Tai Baokai bared its teeth and ran out excitedly toward the 9-dragon-treasured sword. What it said made the people here cry and laugh at the same time. They were all worried about Su Yin just now. What? When Tai Baokai rushed to the gate of the collapsed Huaxia city, its hair suddenly stood up, and its whole body was filled with dragon-like breath. Go! Tai Baokai made a hysterical roar and shouted at Su Yin. But no matter how loud its voice was, it couldn't stop what happened next. Xiaozhe and other people who were crossing to Huaxia City changed their faces greatly. Zhu Yan's body that was split into 2 parts suddenly united. His eyes opened suddenly, and the fear disappeared completely. Instead, it was replaced by a cold smile, like an old poisonous snake staring at Su Yin. Su Yin also had goosebumps. Zhu Yin came back to life. He wanted to stand up, but Su Yin was too tired. He had no strength at all. He was exhausted. Buzz! Zhu Yan's forehead bone emitted a burst of destructive breath, like lightning. Within a radius of 1,000 miles, there was a wave that made people panic. As if an ancient god came to the world, a bright light rushed out from Zhu Yan's forehead bone, illuminating the sky. These strands of energy were terrifying to the extreme. A kind of energy that originated from the void suppressed Su Yin. Ah! Su Yin screamed in pain. His forehead bone was broken, and the primordial spirit inside began to distort. Even the power of Sutra of Future couldn't stop the power of primordial spirit released from Zhu Yan's forehead bone. Void-level primordial spirit. Xiaze and other people's eyes were about to pop out. What a horrible primordial spirit. How could such a horrible old monster come out of the earth? He could kill people from thousands of miles away. In Zhu Yan's forehead bone, it seemed that the sea of primordial spirit was burning. There stood an old man in a purple robe. His whole body was illusory, but his breath was too horrible. The light of primordial spirit rushed out of the forehead bone and rushed to Su Yan's forehead bone in an instant. It's over. Tai Baokai staggered and almost fell to the ground. This man wanted to seize Su Yan's body and occupy his precious body. Bang, bang. Those who saw this scene felt their hearts beat faster, and they were suffocating. The world was filled with the sound of violent heartbeats. Everything seemed to be happening very slowly. They were furious and helpless. They couldn't help Su Yan at all. Someone let out a sorrowful cry and wanted to stop all of this. A great crisis struck. Su Yan felt that his primordial spirit was being shattered. The old man in Zhu Yan's forehead bone was definitely not Zhu Yan. However, this old monster's primordial spirit was too terrifying. He had cultivated to the void level and could become one with the void. Su Yan thought that in less than a second, his primordial spirit would be shattered and his body would be occupied by the other party. At this moment, wisps of cold breath enveloped Su Yan's body. This breath was very cold, like a snowy mountain with piercing cold wind. It was bone-chilling. Suddenly, Su Yan recalled the time when he climbed Mount Everest. Due to insufficient preparation, he almost froze to death on the snowy mountain. However, he met the old Tibetan and his granddaughter later on. Time seemed to have returned to Mount Everest, to the time when he met the old Tibetan and Yun. No! Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. A woman in white appeared in front of him. She floated like a fairy. Her hair was jet black, and she was cold and elegant. She came to protect Su Yan. Primordial spirit light suddenly burned from between her eyebrows and rushed towards the purple-robed old man. It collided with Su Yan's primordial spirit and produced a terrifying collision. Bastard! The purple-robed old man's primordial spirit roared. He didn't expect Yun to jump out and block his path. Yun's beautiful body trembled violently. She raised her beautiful face. Her primordial spirit shattered in the trembling. Her soul was almost scattered by the purple-robed old man's power of possession. She fell to the ground and was caught by Su Yan. Su Yan's body trembled. He couldn't bear this scene. He coughed up blood, and his eyes were bloodshot. He roared angrily. Su Yan stared at the purple-robed old man ferociously. He wanted to tear him apart, but he didn't have any strength left. His primordial spirit was also severely injured. The place seemed to have quietened down. Someone saw Tai Baotsai's primordial spirit leave his body and transform into a golden panda. It carried a golden bell and charged over. It shook the golden bell and vibrated the primordial spirit killing light towards the purple-robed old man. Su Yan's expression changed drastically. This was because the body of the beauty in his arms was rapidly turning cold. The signs of death made Su Yan feel fear in his heart. If I leave, bury me in the snow mountain. Don't look at me. The dreamlike murmurs made Su Yan feel like he was struck by lightning. His eyes were filled with tears as he roared. You won't leave. You won't. All of a sudden, a gust of wind blew past and blew away a corner of the veil covering her face, revealing half of her aged face. Su Yin hugged Yi Si Yun and let out a painful cry. Chapter 141. In the end, he still saw it, Yi Si Yun murmured. She was a little despondent. She did not want Su Yin to see her aging appearance. She had stayed in the space of the snow mountain for decades. When she broke the seal again, she was already old. She was more than 50 years old, and her lifespan was almost up. If not for the strong essence of Mount Everest, she would not have survived. Although she had embarked on the path of cultivation, she could not reverse the past and restore her appearance. Youth was fleeting, and one's appearance aged easily. Yi Si Yun had thought of a silent release, but she did not know how to face others. Her youth had not yet begun. When she woke up again, her appearance was already old. But every time she thought of the person she cared about, who was still trapped in the space of the snow mountain, Yi Si Yun cultivated bitterly. She wanted to be strong and save Su Yin from there. This was her goal to live on. Why would I despise you? I even blamed you wrongly. It's my fault. I've harmed you, Su Yin cried bitterly. His palm caressed her aged cheeks. The beauty of the past had lost her life because of him. Su Yin's heart was broken. It's not your fault. It's fate. I want to be free. You have to live well. Yi Si Yin smiled. She was tired. After 100 years, they met again. Yi Si Yin did not want to see Su Yin. She did not want to see him. Thinking of this, Su Yin was in agony. He hugged Yi Si Yun and said in a trembling voice, "Nothing will happen to you. Nothing will happen." Su Yin. Yi Si's expression was weak. She said softly, "Your words are enough. I really don't want to live anymore. Let me leave this world slowly. Bury me on the snowy mountain." On the snowy mountain, she used all of her strength to finish saying these words. Her aura rapidly weakened, and her eyes were filled with confusion. Only Su Yan's appearance was fixed in her mind. A smile that had not appeared for 100 years appeared on her face. She recalled a long time ago. Su Yan's appearance was similar to now. She felt that it would be great to go back in time. Maybe they could grow old together. Who was this woman? The residents of Huaxia City didn't know who the woman who suddenly appeared was, but her appearance blocked Su Yan's tribulation and saved his life. But this woman probably paid with her life. It's her. Su Bingshuang clenched her jade-like hands. It must be Yi Si Yun. Then the person who threw Su Yin out of the snow mountain space must be Yi Si Yun. It turned out that she had been helping Su Yin. What shocked people was the spirit of Tai Bao Kai. It was a golden panda with a golden bell. This bell was very powerful. It rumbled and broke out the roar of mountains and tsunamis. It blocked the power of the purple-robed old man for a while. Spirits sacrificed mystic treasure. Xia Zhe and the others rushed over. Suddenly, 6 spirits sacrificed mystic treasures were awakened. They cooperated with Tai Bao Kai and attacked the purple-robed old man. The purple-robed old man used his strongest state to revive his spirit. But in the end, it ended in failure. Especially after being hit by Yi Si Yun's spirit, his spirit was also exhausted. Bastard! The purple-robed old man could only retreat. With the power of his spirit, it was too difficult to stop him. Before he left, the purple-robed old man stared at Su Yin with a venomous gaze. He coldly said, "Lucky little fellow, just you wait. I will be back. You won't be able to live for long." Su Yan's cold eyes stared at the purple-robed old man. He did not say a word. He carried Yi Si Yun, who was about to lose all signs of life, and rushed madly towards the chaos crack. Su Yin knew very well that the only person who could help Yi Si Yun now was the old Taoist in the trial space. With Su Yan's talent and level, the trial space might really be able to help Su Yin. Tai Bao Kai thought to himself, after all, the purpose of the trial space is to cultivate the future progenitor. With Su Yan's potential, the guardian of the strongest trial space might be able to help him. But no matter what, the appearance of the purple-robed old man made Tai Bao Kai completely certain that Zhu Yin was definitely an outsider. The current Huaxia alliance was in a state of silence. Too many things had happened today. Too many things. First of all, at least 100,000 residents of Base 9 had died. All of them had been sacrificed by Zhu Yin. If Su Yin had not taken out the 9-dragon sword and scared away the beasts, It would have caused a great war in the Huaxiao Alliance. Who would have thought that Zhu Yan would be so vicious? He had hidden for so many years. When he revealed his fangs, it was hard for them to accept. For the past few decades, they had worshipped Zhu Yan, the god of war, but this god of war had treated the Huaxiao Alliance as his medicine farm. I hate it. The families that had followed Zhu Yan in the past did not know how to explain themselves. They did not even have the strength to do so. They had already opened Zhu Yan's lair and saw that most of their people had become food for the beasts. Not even their bones were left. All of this was like a dream. Xia Zhe and the others were silent. They had a premonition that their future would be even crueler. The Huaxiao Alliance was too weak now. How could they resist the foreign experts? Huaxiao Alliance, enter a state of war readiness, Xia Zhe announced. All the forces in the Huaxiao Alliance were mobilized by Zhu Yan and rushed to the various bases. Xia Zhe had a premonition that the purple-robed old man would not give up. He wanted to possess Zhu Yan. He would not be able to see Zhu Yan continue to grow. There is someone behind Zhu Yan. They will make a comeback. This person almost killed God of War Zhu Yan. I wonder who that woman is. God, please take pity on her. I hope nothing happens to her. Many people looked at the chaos rift with concern. Zhu Yan had entered the trial space. Perhaps there was a way to protect Yan. Zhu Yan, I told you before that you can't bring others in. In the strongest trial space, the old Taoist was dissatisfied. You actually broke the rules. The rules of the trial space have always been clear. Little guy, you crossed the line this time. Plop. Zhu Yan knelt on one knee and placed Yan on the ground. What are you doing? The old Taoist was shocked. He quickly helped Zhu Yan up and said, I don't dare to accept this. Get up quickly. We can talk slowly. Senior, please help me. Save her. Zhu Yan said in a low voice. Our planet is being invaded by aliens. Her primordial spirit is about to shatter in order to save me. Primordial spirit shattering? The old Taoist frowned. Alien invasion? Yes, I believe you have a way. You have the secret medicine to repair the life spring. Zhu Yan begged. Senior, please save her. She doesn't have any injuries. It's just that her primordial spirit was damaged. Please save her life. The old Taoist checked Yan's injuries. Yan's primordial spirit was still there. It was just that it was shattered. As time passed, it would slowly dissipate. There's not much time left. Senior, please help. I will repay you generously in the future, Zhu Yan said seriously. If you can't do anything, I will try other methods. There might be a chance. A chance? The old Taoist shook his head. Who can heal this kind of injury? You mean that you can? Zhu Yan's heart was filled with joy as he hurriedly said. I can. The old Taoist shook his head and smiled bitterly. But it's not that easy. This concerns the primordial spirit. If Senior needs anything, please let me know. Zhu Yan said in a low voice. I see. The old Taoist pondered for a while and said, I can help you suppress her primordial spirit for 3 months. 3 months at most. After all, her primordial spirit is shattered. With my methods, it's only 3 months. If you can pass the 4th stage of the trial space within 3 months, I know that there's something good in the 4th stage that can help her. 3 months, I can definitely do it. I definitely can. Zhu Yan let out a sigh of relief. Of course, it was only 3 months. If the 3 months were up, Yan would definitely die. Without her primordial spirit, even the elixir would not be able to save her. Listen to me first. The old Taoist pondered. After a while, he said, the 4th level is very difficult. With your current achievements, the chances of you passing the 4th level in 3 months are very slim. Don't think that the 4th level is easy. 3 months is too short. Since someone succeeded in the past, I can definitely do it too. Zhu Yan clenched his fist and said, definitely. All right. The old Taoist sighed slightly. Since you have the confidence, then go ahead. He knew that Zhu Yan could not do it. 3 months was too short. To pass the 4th level in 3 months was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. At this moment, the old Taoist palm suddenly emitted thousands of strands of light. This kind of power was very strange. It densely covered Yan's forehead and turned into a seal that sealed her entire consciousness. Su Yin used his primordial spirit to see through E.C. Yun's primordial spirit and found that it had stopped collapsing. 3 months. I only have 3 months. Su Yin carried E.C. Yun and looked at her. You see, don't worry. As long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you. Just as he put E.C. Yun into the phoenix hairpin space, Su Yin found some white cloth hidden in her sleeves. Su Yin took it out and saw that there were words on the white cloth. This is the letter that E.C. left for me. Su Yin's pupils shrank. There were many words on the white cloth. They were densely packed and detailed from the moment E.C. Yun entered Mount Everest. It even described Su Yan's 100 years of experience. As for Zhu Yan's origin, his heart sank. His speculation was correct. Zhu Yan was not only an outsider, but his purpose was to obtain the Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin. Back then, the 3 of them had all been trapped in the space of the Snow Mountain due to the appearance of it. Zhu Yan, I slept for a while. When I woke up, I was already old. I'm an old woman now. I don't know if you can still recognize me. Perhaps one day, you will appear here and see the white bones on the ground. You will see the words I left on this white cloth. If you have any conscience, you should bury me near the Snow Mountain. Su Yin lost control of his emotions. He did not know how E.C. Yun had felt when she wrote these words on the white cloth that she carried with her. Zhu Yin seems to have changed into a different person. After he woke up, he did not say a word. He just sat there and stared at the Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin hanging on the dome. I don't know what secret is hidden here. Why can Zhu Yin not age? I can't do it. I don't eat every day, but I don't feel hungry. What is wrong with this world? E.C. Yun wrote down her experience in the space of the Snow Mountain in the form of a diary. Su Yan, I am out. It has been 60 years. I am 80 years old. My youth has been buried by the Snow Mountain. Isn't it funny? I am old. The world has changed. I think you will like this world, but I don't want to live anymore. I want to be free. Su Yin clenched his fists. He could imagine E.C. Yun's despair back then. The world had changed. It was wonderful, but she was pitiful and helpless, like a child without a home. The Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin opened. I even saw you floating up from the open coffin. Photos of Tai Baokai and E.C. Yun are out. You can see them on my Weibo, XIN, Public, and Zhong accounts. The process is to click on the Add Friends page, search for Ye Qing Tian, and follow. Chapter 142. When you crawled out of the Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin, I could faintly see that you had grown old. That was because the Snow Mountain space closed. Zhu Yin and I came out again. As for that dragon, I never saw it. You were old, and so was I. Only Zhu Yin was still young. But I didn't know how to save you. Perhaps the heavens took pity on me. I originally thought that my life would be in a quiet place, guarding the Snow Mountain and slowly dying of old age with you. But I didn't expect that I would encounter some opportunities and embark on the path of cultivation. Later, I met Zhu Yin. Zhu Yin said that he could open the Snow Mountain space. Although I knew that Dao Zhu Yin wasn't reliable, he knew too much about the god and devil civilization. I could only choose to stay and cultivate in silence, hoping that I could really open the Snow Mountain space. Su Yin, I saw a woman today. Although she was wearing a mask, I could still see her face. She looked very similar to the picture you showed me. She should be Su Bingshuang. It seems that she was also looking for you. I finally rescued you. Zhu Yin didn't succeed. He didn't even know that you were still alive. Furthermore, you actually regained your youth. This is really unfair. The words recorded on the white cloth stopped there. Su Yin looked at these words. He had read them many times. His eyes looked at E.C. Yun. He took a deep breath and said, I allowed you to stand. Isn't it because of your youthful appearance? The god and devil civilization definitely has the power to rejuvenate you. Su Yin put E.C. Yun into the phoenix hairpin space. His emotions fluctuated as he clenched his fists. He raised his head and looked at the sky. He had slept in the Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin for 60 years, slowly aging. Then, he had spent more than 30 years in the Snow Mountain space. He had become very young and even regained his youth. The strength of the Snow Mountain space had exceeded Su Yan's expectations. Su Yan originally thought that it was the Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin that allowed him to regain his youth. He didn't expect it to be the snow mountain space. But what was the dragon coffin? Why had he slept in it for 60 years? Su Yin found it hard to believe that 60 years had passed. Su Yin took a deep breath and suppressed his emotions. He put EC Yun into the space of the Phoenix hairpin. Then, Su Yin entered the 4th level. 3 months, I can definitely do it. As soon as he pushed open the bronze door, Su Yin felt as if he had barged into an ancient world. What greeted him was the boundless might of the great Tao. Su Yin's pupils dilated. He felt as if this was a small universe that was suffused with the suffocating, saintly might of the great Tao. Countless divine power of rules lingered in the heavens and the earth, fusing and interweaving together to form a sacred region. The laws that Su Yin comprehended were like a chasm when compared to the laws in this holy region. Could this be the rule to open the holy gate? Su Yin was moved. The space of the 4th level was extremely shocking. This place was like a real world. The laws that were manifested were profound to a shocking level. No wonder the old senior said that it would be difficult to pass this place. It would take a few years. It won't be easy to comprehend the laws here. Su Yin took a deep breath. The test of the 4th level was a little difficult. It was to comprehend these laws, construct the holy gate, and step into the Tao Gate realm. The essence of heaven and earth here is so rich. Su Yin was speechless. The pores on his body were glowing as they automatically absorbed the essence of heaven and earth. Su Yin's injuries were very serious, and he had consumed a lot of energy. But now, under the nourishment of the surging essence of heaven and earth, his injured body was recovering. Su Yin sat cross-legged and absorbed the essence of heaven and earth to heal his injuries. He was also immersed in his thoughts. Slowly, Su Yin's state of mind became empty. He visualized himself and visualized the Initiation Sutra. The initial scripture naturally had a method to create the Tao sect. Su Yin began to study it. The more he studied, the more he realized that the Tao sect chapter of the initial scripture was similar to this sanctuary space. Su Yin was pleasantly surprised. He was very excited because the Initiation Sutra's Tao and laws were very similar to the laws here. With this, his comprehension speed would be greatly increased if he combined it with the Initiation Sutra. Most importantly, the Saint Domain space had simplified the initial sutra. Su Yin was suddenly thinking about the relationship between his ancestor and the training ground. Could it be that his ancestor was an expert of the earth lineage? I want to open the holy gate in 3 months. Now that I have the help of the Initiation Sutra, the speed will definitely be faster. Su Yin cleared his mind. First, he took out a praying mat. After sitting on it, Su Yin's body shone brightly. At this moment, he seemed to have merged with the entire holy region. Su Yin, I really have to thank you. Su Yin's eyes flashed with a cold light. This praying mat was very precious. He had a greater chance of passing the test. Su Yin wasn't in a hurry to comprehend it. He took out precious bee skin maps one after another. They were all obtained from Zhu Yan's cultivation room. On them were the cultivation experiences of experts. They were also very helpful to Su Yin. Let's begin. Su Yin entered the state and studied the scriptures on the bee skin maps. Together with the Initiation Sutra, he began to comprehend the Tao Gate. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The entire Huaxia Alliance was no longer peaceful. The 10 major bases were faintly trembling. In the vast wilderness, there was an endless stream of beastly roars. The commotion was getting louder and more shocking. Endless ferocious aura was transmitted from all directions. Countless beasts roared in the night sky and charged towards the Huaxia Alliance. Everyone be on guard. The 10 major bases were forged from steel. They were filled with an iron-blooded battle intent. Countless killing swords were unsheathed. They lit up the night sky and filled the air with terrifying fluctuations that made everyone tremble. Kill. This was an unprecedented war. It came faster than Xia Zhe and the rest had estimated. The 10 major bases were attacked by countless beasts. Every base had a demon king guarding it. The number of beasts in the army was increasing exponentially. The Huaxiao Alliance was covered in blood. This was a great battle. It involved the entire Huaxiao Alliance. No one could escape. Kiki. Zhu Yan's figure was faintly discernible in the army of beasts. An old man in a purple robe stood on his forehead. He said in a cruel voice, "Not a single ant can escape. I want the entire Huaxiao Alliance destroyed. When I take over Su Yan's body, the entire earth will be mine." His eyes were full of greed. He said coldly, "Zhu Yan, don't worry. I will take care of your body. I have told you not to be too greedy. However, your greed is right. I am not willing to give such a great opportunity to the Ancestral Hall's big shot." Zhu Yuankui recalled the past. The organization he was in was considered a superpower in the universe. For a long time, the Ancestral Hall had been searching for the heavenly coffin on a newly awakened ancient planet. What was the heavenly coffin? Zhu Yuankui did not know. However, if the Ancestral Hall's big shot had been looking for it for so long, one could imagine how important the heavenly coffin was. They drove the battleship across the universe. However, they encountered a cosmic storm along the way. Zhu Yuankui's body was shattered, and the experts traveling with him also died. Only Zhu Yan, a core member of the Ancestral Hall, was unharmed. Just like that, they arrived on Earth. However, the Earth had not awakened. Moreover, their realms were slowly dissipating due to the environment. They were unwilling to give up and searched frantically, hoping to find a way to leave. They found Mount Everest and discovered that it had some secrets. They had climbed it many times, but to no avail. 120 years ago, Mount Everest was dyed red overnight. They rushed to the peak of the mountain, but unfortunately, they did not find anything. 20 years later, the mountain began to grow on its own. It was as if its life had been awakened. "Su Yan, I don't care what secrets you are hiding. Give me some time, and I will make you spit them all out." Zhu Yuankui smiled coldly. Back then, their influence in the Huaxiao Alliance was not small. They had closely investigated those who went to the mountain this year. In the end, they noticed Su Yan. It was only when Zhu Yan followed Su Yan to the mountain that Earth entered the divine devil civilization. The battle was getting more and more intense by the day. Countless beasts rushed to the Huaxiao Alliance, wanting to tear apart the major bases. It was like the end of the universe. Countless soldiers were bathed in blood. Fortunately, Su Bingshuang opened a divine-grade Dao door and became the pillar of the Huaxiao Alliance. Even a demon king who had opened the Dao door would not be able to do much at the moment. In the trial space, in this sacred domain space, Su Yan had been in seclusion for almost a month. His body was glowing, and the sound of chanting was transmitted from his body. Every syllable was shocking, like a mountain falling down. This was the power of the laws. Su Yan's mastery of the laws was improving rapidly. His entire body was densely covered with the traces of the laws. As time passed, it gradually became terrifying, as if a door of the great Tao had opened here. Rumble. The sound of hammering metal could be heard between heaven and earth. The life cauldron rumbled as it rotated in the void. The laws of scriptures that appeared from the cauldron gradually became terrifying as Su Yan's mastery of the laws increased. The divine might of the cauldron was also increasing. Su Yan's aura was monstrous, and his life aura was majestic. Evolve. Su Yan took out the Genesis brush. This was his greatest trump card. With the help of the Genesis brush's spatial laws, his mastery of the laws was temporarily raised to another level. He spent nearly 3,000 origin essence stones to successfully evolve the Genesis brush. The world of laws that evolved once again caused Su Yan to be intoxicated. Every day, he seemed to be sublimated. His body involuntarily seeped out of his body like chains of laws, causing the sacred domain space to rumble. 10 days and 10 nights passed. Su Yan's pupils were like 2 bolts of lightning. His body was like a golden furnace that connected the heavens and the earth, emanating a vague aura of the great Tao. The Genesis Sutra could be cultivated in both the physical body and the life spring. Su Yin used the sacred domain space to deduce the Genesis Sutra, and his physical body was raised to another level. When Su Yan's physical body awakened to the extreme, Su Yin seemed to disappear. He seemed to have become one with the sacred domain space. The first base has been broken. Su Bingshuang is heavily injured, and Zhu Yin has returned. Chapter 143. People shouted and beasts roared. The army of beasts rushed into the first base like a torrent. Every base suffered heavy casualties, and corpses were piled up outside the city. But now, Su Bingshuang, the leader of the first base, was seriously injured and almost killed by Zhu Yuankuei's primordial spirit, which caused a huge uproar. The gate of the first base collapsed under the impact of the beasts. Zhu Yan's body recovered. Although Zhu Yan had died, Zhu Yuankuei was very familiar with his body and could exert a very strong combat power. Without Zhu Yan was now the most powerful man on Earth. Kill! Zhu Yuankuei laughed and rushed into the first base. He wanted to destroy the whole Huaxiao alliance, dig out Su Yin, and occupy his body. Boom! At this moment, one after another, the harsh sound of a dragon's roar echoed in the whole Huaxiao alliance. Under everyone's shocked eyes, a terrible shadow appeared in the sky above Huaxia City. The bronze body was full of the supreme power of tearing the sky and splitting the sea. One after another, huge dragon-shaped pillars penetrated the sky with him. For a time, his power was overwhelming and swept across the vast territory. He turned into the most brilliant martial arts star in the Huaxiao Alliance, illuminating the broken rivers and mountains. Buzz! Yuan's long black hair danced in the wind. When he pulled the bow, a strand of horrible qi filled the air. The whole Huaxiao Alliance was shaking and fluctuating. This ancient bow was extremely horrible. Yuan could be regarded as the reincarnation of his descendants. He bent down and shot arrows. The bow shone and swallowed countless essence of heaven and earth. Huaxia City turned into a big black hole. As soon as the arrow was fired, a terrifying beam of light tore through the night sky and headed straight for base number 9. It was like a blood-red dragon that had penetrated a few hundred miles of land. Oh no! Zhu Yuankuei's face changed dramatically. At this moment, Zhu Yan's body was locked by the sword light. This was because the arrow that Yuan shot out was not formed from energy. Instead, it was an arrow made from the blood spear. One could imagine how shocking the combination of two great treasures was. Zhu Yuankuei almost lost all hope. Why was there another freak on Earth? Even Yuan had repaired his life spring. His battle prowess was even more terrifying than Zhu Yan's. It's the war god. The entire Huaxiao alliance was in an uproar. This arrow was too terrifying. It tore through the night sky and was terrifying to the extreme. It was like a blood-colored evil dragon that dominated the heavens. Zhu Yan's flesh shell completely collapsed as the arrow pierced through his heart. As for Zhu Yan's Yuan spirit, he had fused with the void and escaped. He let out a roar of grief and indignation. After losing Zhu Yan's body, no matter how strong his Yuan spirit was, what could he do? Kill. The martial god charged over, wanting to kill Zhu Yuankuei. Su Bingshuang smiled. The martial god had already awakened 10 days ago. They wanted to lure Zhu Yuankuei out, and that old thing really fell for it. I can't accept this. Zhu Yuankuei's Yuan spirit traversed the void. His face was ashen. Why would a freak with a king physique come out of a primitive planet? And even Su Yin, his dream was shattered just like that. One had to know that a Yuan spirit that had lost its physical body basically had no room for growth. The appearance of a martial god had caused Zhu Yuankuei to lose all hope. Huaxiao Alliance, this matter will not end just like this. No matter what, I will destroy the entire Earth. I still have a chance. As long as I report this matter to the Ancestral Hall, the big shots will definitely find a way to help me find a powerful body. Zhu Yuankuei had made a decision in Zhu Yan's lair. He took out a set of array discs that were as valuable as the sky. There was no turning back now. If he did not summon the Ancestral Hall's experts, he would fall on Earth. At that time, the secret of this place would be preserved forever. There were no less than 100 arrayed disks, suffused with the divine splendor of the stars. When combined together, they formed a huge arrayed disk of the starry sky. Zhu Yu and Kuei had been keeping this arrayed disk all this time. This was a very precious arrayed disk of the starry sky. Its value was even more shocking than a Tao weapon. It originated from the ancestral hall. When they came to Earth, the essence of Earth had not awakened, so they could not activate the arrayed disk of the starry sky. The result was different now. With the density of the essence of Snow Mountain, it was enough to unleash the power of the arrayed disk of the starry sky. This way, they could communicate with the arrayed disk of the ancestral hall. Rumble. The starry sky array released a terrifying, devouring power. The starry sky array, which was formed by hundreds of arrayed disks, burned in an instant and swallowed countless essence of heaven and earth. From this moment on, the bright starry sky light was released from a corner of Earth and radiated into the starry sky. At this moment, the entire Huaxiao alliance fell silent. Yuan and the others' expressions were ugly. They had read in ancient books that some extremely terrifying starry sky arrays could cross galaxies. This is bad. Xia Zhe's angry roar reverberated throughout the Huaxiao alliance. I'm Xia Zhe. The Huaxiao alliance is now in danger. The aliens have activated the starry sky array and can communicate with other planets. They can even send people over. Once the experts of their forces come, the entire Earth will be enslaved by them. The Huaxiao alliance trembled. Countless people were scared. Once that day came, the consequences would be unimaginable. Taoist realm experts, charge out with me. We must destroy the starry sky array. Xia Zhe raised his arm and called out. Taoist realm experts from all the major bases of the Huaxiao alliance rushed out. There were now 10 Taoist realm experts in the Huaxiao alliance, and the martial god was the strongest among them. They did not stop and rush towards Zhu Yan's base crazily. They wanted to destroy Zhu Yu and Kuei's plan. Is the situation really that dangerous? Someone said in fear. Martial god Xia Zhe and the others did not stop for even a moment. They're charging out. Will there really be many aliens coming to Earth? All the major forces were uneasy. Xia Zhe and the others had already charged out. They wanted to destroy the starry sky array at all costs. You insects want to destroy the starry sky array. What a joke. Zhu Yu and Kuei laughed sinisterly. I've been forced to this step by you. I've given up everything. Now it's time for the Huaxiao alliance to pay the price. Boom. The starry sky array became much more terrifying. Thousands of starlight beams rippled and pierced through the starry sky. At this moment, countless starlight beams fell from the vast starry sky. They turned into the Milky Way and pierced through the huge starry sky array that covered 10 miles. We must destroy it. The martial god and the others took out their weapons and attacked the starry sky array. However, the power of the starry sky array was too terrifying. Even with their strongest attacks, they could only shake the starry sky array. It was difficult to destroy it. A bunch of ants. You can't do it. Zhu Yu and Kuei sneered. When the experts of my race arrive, the entire Earth will be destroyed. Billions of lives will be buried with them. No one will survive. His voice. Yuan and the others felt a chill down their spines. This was what they were worried about. If the starry sky array could really communicate with the superpowers in the Milky Way, how could Earth resist the invasion of aliens? Xia Zhe and the others were unwilling to give up. They attacked the starry sky array crazily. However, it was useless. The starry sky array was too sturdy. It absorbed the power of the universe and the energy of the Earth. The entire array flowed with the aura of the sea of stars. It was going to penetrate a distant region. The Huaxiao alliance was silent. Many people's faces were pale. They felt that a disaster was imminent. War god Su Yan. Some people looked at the chaotic rift, but they sighed. Even the martial god and the others couldn't destroy the starry sky array. Even if Su Yan came out, it would be useless. The footsteps of death were approaching the Huaxiao alliance. On this day, in the chaotic rift, in the Saint Realm space. One after another, the chanting of sutras was transmitted here. Every syllable was loud and clear. The entire Saint Realm space fluctuated and scattered the divine light of laws. There was a figure sitting cross-legged inside. He was like a deity. His entire body was suffused with the aura of the great Tao. A cauldron above his head was swaying. Starlight poured down from it. The cauldron's body was intertwined with resplendent scriptures. It was as if priceless, immortal scriptures were imprinted on the cauldron's body. The cauldron's body was becoming more and more astonishing. It was as if it had turned into a door of the great Tao. The cauldron's potential was awakened. It was filled with a terrifying power that could crush heaven and earth. The cauldron had transformed. It was extraordinary. It increased along with Su Yan's cultivation. It shrank rapidly and turned into a small, sparkling cauldron. Then entered Su Yan's life spring. At this moment, Su Yan's life spring erupted. The chi essence within it was awakening continuously. When the cauldron rumbled in his life spring, it sprinkled down boundless power of laws. It densely covered the entire life spring. The life spring transformed. It was as if it had turned into a blurry door. As the power of laws increased, the entire life spring was astonishingly complex. The initial sutra, life spring realm, weapon building realm, Tao gate realm. The fourth realm was the Tao gate realm. In order to open the Tao gate, one had to derive the laws from the life spring. The life spring was like an independent world. It could evolve 9 Tao gates. It was said that when the 9 Tao gates merged, one would cultivate the Tao gate and seize the power of supernatural powers. What a god! The old Taoist had been paying attention to Su Yan's cultivation. At this moment, he saw the dense power of laws flashing in Su Yan's life spring. With each passing day, more and more laws were engraved. The old Taoist realized that the laws engraved by Su Yan were equivalent to the laws of the entire Saint Realm. Once this day arrived, it would be the moment when Su Yan opened the Tao gate. The crisis that the Huaxia alliance was facing was getting more and more serious. With each passing day, the morale of the Huaxia alliance was greatly reduced. Xia Zhe and the rest had used countless methods and used all their trump cards. However, they were still unable to destroy the astral formation. We can't stop it at all. Yeah, the astral formation is too strong. Even if the power of the entire Earth is combined, we still can't stop it. Some of the Tao Gate realm experts were about to lose hope. After so many days, the astral formation was still intact. They were wondering if there were already experts from the Ancestral Hall who had started across the galaxy and follow the power of the astral formation to reach Earth. Zhu Yuankue was clear that the astral formation needed a certain amount of time. It would easily take 10 days to half a month. He didn't know how far he was from the Ancestral Hall, but as long as the astral formation was activated to the maximum, it would be able to trigger the Ancestral Hall's reaction. On this day, Zhu Yuankue was pleasantly surprised. He could faintly feel that the astral formation was buzzing. Ha ha ha. Zhu Yuankue couldn't stop laughing. You're all dead. In less than half a month, the experts of my race will cross the galaxy and kill their way here. They will trample the entire Huaxia alliance and crush you like a bunch of insects. The entire Earth will be ruled by my race. On the other side of the astral formation, there seemed to be an ancient, chaotic palace. There were many blurry figures sitting cross-legged in the chaos. They seemed to have remained motionless for a long time. There was also a vague, mysterious aura in the quiet, chaotic palace. It made the chaos tremble, as if it couldn't seal their aura. A small team that has been lost for hundreds of years suddenly activated the astral formation. A figure awakened. For a moment, the chaos split apart. The sun and moon wailed. He was too terrifying. He could be said to be the god of chaos who created the world. He let out a loud voice that made the sky tremble. According to the Mother Formation's general reaction, the destination is very far away. Is it worth the resources? Crossing the galaxy? That was too difficult. Chapter 144. Maybe a team will find the whereabouts of the heavenly coffin. It's worth a try, someone said. It was as if they had been silent for thousands of years. They moved their bodies slightly, and a terrifying aura tore through the chaos and pierced through the sky, almost shattering the stars. When will this dream wake up? Countless years have passed, and it's impossible to find a heavenly coffin. Someone sneered. No matter what, it's worth a try. It's just a waste of resources. It's nothing. These terrifying existences were talking, and the entire Chaos Hall was shaking. The strong cultivators who passed by were trembling on the ground, not daring to look up. They talked for a short while, then fell into silence, as if they would not leave the Chaos Hall easily. The mother array of the clan was awakened, and a large number of divine materials were burned to ashes. These were divine materials, and it was extremely difficult to cross the starfields. Only the most powerful forces were qualified to open the starfield gate and cross the starfields one after another. The divine materials turned into monstrous divine energy, driving the mother array and sending away the elites of the clan one after another. Time passed day after day. After 3 days and 3 nights, the entire Huaxiao Alliance trembled under the pressure of the aura, and countless mountain ranges were about to collapse. "They're here," someone said in fear, trembling. They saw that in the area of the Starry Sky Array, there were vague figures in the vast burning Starry Sky Array, crossing over to the Huaxiao Alliance. Yuan let out a furious roar. They were already here. Once they arrived, the entire Huaxiao Alliance would be destroyed. Our clan can't die because of this. We can't. Xiaozhe was furious and clenched his fists. However, there was nothing he could do. The cultivation civilization of a powerful ancient planet was definitely much more advanced than that of Earth. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? In the strongest trial space, Su Yin suddenly heard many people calling out to him. His expression changed slightly. He did not know what was happening outside, but his breakthrough would be completed soon. Faster, faster. Su Yin's entire life spring was shining brightly, and the chanting of scriptures was heard. Inside the life spring, there were many complicated runes that interweaved with each other, as if an ancient saint was reciting scriptures inside. The dense patterns in Su Yan's life spring had already formed some sort of connection with the saint realm space. At this moment, his inscribing speed became even faster. Su Yan's primordial spirit burned to the extreme as he frantically comprehended the limited number of densely packed runes, accelerating his power to break through. Every day that passed was like a year to the Huaxiao Alliance. It was as if they were sitting there waiting for death. They could only watch as the starry sky power in the wasteland grew more and more terrifying. Su Bingshuang could faintly see a long river running through the star field, becoming clearer and clearer, and there stood one grim figure after another, like gods and devils. As time passed, their appearances became clearer and clearer, more and more majestic. "They're coming." Su Bingshuang's scalp went numb. She looked at the chaos crack and said in a trembling voice, "Brother, I don't know what to do, but the enemy is too strong. The Huaxia Alliance can't stop them." Xiaozhe and the others knew that even if Su Yin came out, it would be useless. Zhu Yin was already terrifying enough, but with more than 10 existences that were even more terrifying than Zhu Yin, who could stop them? How is it? Zhu Yuankue sat cross-legged in the starry sky array and said coldly, "My race's experts are coming. I advise you all to kneel here and wait for their arrival. This way, you will suffer less. If you're lucky, you can even become a slave and not die a horrible death." The Huaxia Alliance fell into panic. "You old thing, your Lord Baokai is just taking an afternoon nap, and you're already so arrogant. Who gave you the courage?" Tai Baotsai's arrogant voice suddenly sounded. Some people looked at the funny national treasure and suddenly wanted to laugh. They laughed loudly. Tai Baokai was wearing a red doo-doo and a treasure bowl on his head. His whole body was shining like a landlord. He was very funny and jumped out. "You evil creature, when my race's experts come, the first person I'll kill is you. I'll turn your bones into ashes." Zhu Yuankue clenched his fists tightly, and his whole body was filled with a terrifying killing intent. His ferocious eyes stared at Tai Baokai, and he laughed hysterically. Then I'll boil you into soup. You dare to scold Lord Baokai? I think you're tired of living. Under everyone's incredulous gaze, Tai Baotsai's aura suddenly became ferocious. Its whole body was filled with demonic energy, and it was as if a peerless demon had appeared here. At this moment, Tai Baokai was like a giant mountain made of divine iron. Demonic aura surged from his body, and his entire body vaguely transformed into a terrifying door. Inside it, there seemed to be tens of thousands of demons hibernating. How is this possible? Zhu Yuankuei's whole body was trembling. He pointed at Tai Baokai and pointed at the vague door that it had revealed. Because this was a sacred gate. In Tai Baotsai's door, it was as if a primordial demon sage was chanting scriptures. At this moment, Tai Baokai could be said to be the king of all demons. The terrifying aura that it emitted made the vast wilderness tremble. Countless ferocious beasts rushed out and started to rush towards Tai Baokai. This is a sacred gate? Xia Zhe was blind. Tai Baokai actually had such a heaven-defying foundation. Yuan shook his head. This was not a sacred gate, but a half-step sacred gate. It could barely be considered a sacred gate. Tai Baotsai's door was like the gate of demons, but the shadows of the demons were a little blurry. Therefore, even if it was not a sacred gate, it could still be considered a half-step sacred gate. Although it was only a half-step sacred gate, it was already heaven-defying enough. In the prosperous world of cultivation, it was considered a genius. Tai Baokai might be able to complete this sacred gate. What's going on? Xia Zhe and the rest did not have much hope. Although Tai Baokai had opened a half-step sacred gate, how strong could its combat power be? However, the next scene made them stunned. Tai Baokai held a big flag. When he waved it, the aura of a demon king surged and swept across the vast wilderness. In an instant, thousands of beasts roared and rushed over to worship. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Could Tai Baokai have become the king of all beasts? He can't really be the beast god, right? He can actually command all the beasts in the world. Not only that, in a distant region, the endless sea was roaring. Countless sea beasts crawled out from the sea and rushed towards Tai Baokai. In an instant, it was as if all the beasts on earth were rushing towards Tai Baokai. Thousands of beasts rushed over. This scene was too shocking. The roars of the beasts tore through the sky. Roar! Demonic aura surged between heaven and earth. Countless beasts bowed to Tai Baokai, as if it was a supreme demon king. The people of the Huaxia Alliance were extremely excited. The beasts that were their enemies were now bowing to Tai Baokai. Guys, look! It was a shocking scene. In the sea, the ferocious aura dissipated. However, one after another, large ships crossed the sea and came over. On the ships, countless cultivators of the Western Alliance stood, waving their weapons and shouting. Western Alliance? Xia Zhe was dumbfounded. What was going on? He even saw Fatty turn into a giant and stand on the leading ship as if he was their leader. He was leading countless cultivators of the Western Alliance. Their speed was very fast, and they were already here. What's going on? Su Bingshuang rushed over and asked. Fatty scratched his head and said awkwardly. Baokai swam over and controlled the beast army of the Western Alliance. The Western Alliance treated him as God. Yuan and the others' faces twitched. Tai Baokai had become God? What God? Tai Baokai corrected them. He was very dissatisfied with this word and said, I'm the beast god. Do you understand? In short, this time, Tai Baokai was very powerful. It swam to the Western Alliance and waved its flag to control all the beasts of the Western Alliance. It calmed the flames of war in the Western Alliance and saved the Western Alliance. In the end, these people treated him as God, so Tai Baokai brought them over to show off. They never expected to encounter a catastrophe. Fatty's face darkened when he saw the Western Alliance cultivators staring at Tai Baokai with fanatical gazes. Tai Baokai was too evil. It had cheated the Western Alliance of countless resources. The Western Alliance knew little about the divine devil civilization, but Tai Baokai had taken away countless treasures. Yuan shook his head. These cultivators of the Western Alliance were too weak. They couldn't help them. Kiki, even if you summon millions of soldiers, what can these bugs do? Zhu Yuan Kuei smiled coldly. And you, beast, I can already see your future. You will become a mount and charge into battle for the experts of my race. Isn't it just a broken formation? Tai Baokai waved its flag. The flag flapped loudly and released the aura of a demon king. It was like a smoke signal that pierced through the sky and spread to the vast beast army. From this moment on, countless ferocious beasts roared and charged towards the starry formation. Set up the formation. Tai Baokai charged forward with the flag. The flag was very strange. It radiated light beams that scattered on the foreheads of the beasts. At this moment, the aura of millions of ferocious beasts erupted. Under the influence of the flag, their auras combined to form a terrifying 10,000 demons formation. Could this be the legendary banners of demons of the 10,000 demons star zone? Zhu Yuan Kuei was envious. He knew of the legendary banners of demons. It was once the war flag of the demon race. This flag was once held by several demon supremes. They ruled over millions of demons and left behind the aura of the demon race's supremes. Therefore, once the banners of demons awakened, millions of demons would be mobilized. But how could such a treasure fall on a primitive planet? Tai Baokai was now relying on this flag to activate the endless beast tide. When the auras of these beasts merged into one, they turned into a huge array that connected the heavens and the earth. The terrifying demonic chi filled the sky and penetrated the vast starry sky. The cultivators from the Western Alliance were so excited that they almost knelt on the ground and kowtowed. The Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar. This was too heaven-defying. Once the banners of demons appeared, millions of ferocious beasts charged towards the starry formation, forming a terrifying 10,000 demons formation that charged towards the starry formation. Zhu Yuan Kuei felt his scalp tingle. Once the starry formation was destroyed, the group of powerhouses that charged over would definitely be in trouble. A terrifying collision shook the starry sky. Countless mountain ranges were trembling, as if the entire earth was shaking along with them. One after another, earth-shattering explosions resounded between the heavens and the earth. Tai Baotsai's expression was solemn. It did not know if the starry formation could be broken. Although the 10,000 demons formation was powerful, the cultivation of the living beings on earth was too weak. Even if the 10,000 demons formation was formed, it would be difficult to break through the starry formation. Quick, look! Someone roared excitedly. In the starry formation, one of the blurry figures began to tremble and shatter. No! Zhu Yuan Kuei's scalp tingled. The starry formation had been shaken. Once the starry formation was hit while crossing the starry field, the powerhouses that crossed over would also perish. One by one, the powerhouses began to shatter in the starry formation's projection. 4 of the dozen powerhouses had fallen in an instant. Boom! The 10 great experts who were still alive were doing everything they could to revive. Extremely terrifying auras filled the air. They were all roaring angrily. Their auras followed the senses of the giant starry sky formation, pushing over endless power to stabilize the shaking giant starry sky formation. The Huaxia Alliance was silent. They had failed. Chapter 145. All of you, just wait for your deaths. Let's see how you escape this calamity. Ha ha. This scene made Zhu Yuan Kuei shout excitedly. You even killed 4 of my race's greatings, yeah. Let's see how you pay with your lives. At this moment, the starry formation was filled with layers of divine power. Without a doubt, this was the power of the ancestral formation being pushed over by the 10 great powerhouses to stabilize the starry formation that was on the verge of collapse. He estimated that they would arrive in less than 3 days. What should we do? What should we do? Is there no hope for Earth? Can we only watch as they attack us? Xia Zhe and the rest clenched their fists, their faces ashen. Although they had killed 4, there were still 10 universe powerhouses. Don't panic. Tai Baokai breathed heavily and said fiercely, We'll guard here. Once they attack, we'll attack them directly. The moment they descend, these people will be suppressed by Earth. Their combat strength won't be at its peak, so we still have a chance. According to Tai Baokai, they still had the strength to fight but it knew that once they failed, the top group of people on Earth would be reduced to ashes. Once this happened, no one would be able to protect Earth. If God of War Su Yin can come out, will our chances of winning be higher? Someone asked. Tai Baokai shook its head. How long had it been? Su Yin couldn't open the sacred gate. Normally, it would take 1 or 2 years to accumulate. Even for Su Yin, it would be difficult for him to enter the most powerful trial ground. Every day was a torment for them. The next day, in the depths of the most powerful trial ground, the entire space in the sacred realm was shaking as if it was going to collapse with a wisp of aura. What a great creation! Su Yin was pleasantly surprised. After all, he knew that he had used up countless resources to open the life spring. Now that he wanted to open the sacred gate, he didn't know if he had enough origin essence stones. However, now that Su Yin had comprehended all the rules of the sacred realm, the entire sacred realm was burning from this moment onwards. Rumble! The power of rules fell down and drilled into Su Yan's flesh shell, then penetrated his life spring. At this moment, Su Yan's life spring blazed brightly. The laws he comprehended were exactly the same as the laws in the Saint Domain. Thus, they could fuse together. When they fused together, Su Yan's life spring seemed to have turned into an ancient Saint Domain. Terrifying air currents flowed around it. He actually succeeded. The old priest was speechless. How long had it been? Su Yan's fate spring had completely transformed, turning into a Saint Domain of laws. When his fate spring recovered to its peak, his fate spring surged out like lightning, emitting strands of heaven-piercing potential. I want to open the holy gate. Open the holy gate. Su Yin faced the sky and roared. The origin essence stones in the cauldron had all melted. The origin essence chi that flowed out pierced through the life springs, causing Su Yan's life springs to show signs of collapse. Rumble! In his body, chanting sounds were transmitted. The power of the life springs intertwined with the power of rules and attacked the faintly discernible ancient gate. Wave after wave, the deafening divine sounds exploded. This was the most powerful breakthrough. Su Yin had already comprehended the method to open the holy gate. Every time he tried to break through, Su Yin felt like he was struck by lightning. He felt like he was about to be destroyed by the power of the blurry gate. Whoa! Su Yan's body circulated to the extreme. At the moment when he became one with the weapon, his body turned into a blurry ancient star, withstanding the power of the blurry gate. Every time he tried to break through, he would need to consume countless amounts of origin essence energy in Su Yan's body. Fortunately, his life spring was powerful enough, and he had a lot of divine power stored in it. He also had so many origin essence stones to back him up. That was how he could ensure a successful breakthrough. Rumble! The laws were like the sea, intertwining and penetrating into the life cauldron. To open the holy gate, a life cauldron was indispensable. Su Yan's life cauldron was filled with a power that could collapse the world. It was like an ancient star that crashed into the holy gate again and again. The old Taoist face was solemn. Why was it so difficult? With Su Yan's foundation and cultivation, half a day was enough. He had been nourished by the holy domain's spatial laws, and his control of the laws was astonishing. However, an entire day had passed, and Su Yin had yet to open the holy gate. What kind of physique did he have? Old senior, my foundation is not enough. Su Yan's voice sounded. The old Taoist smiled and said, "Don't worry about breaking through. The strongest trial ground will help you open the first holy gate." Just as he finished speaking, in the fourth stage, the aura of essence chi permeated like the sea and penetrated Su Yan's body. Su Yan's weakened aura became even more terrifying. He roared as his entire body erupted. Blood essence flowed through the life cauldron, and the life cauldron burned brightly. "Open for me." Su Yin let out a wild roar. After dozens of collisions, the blurry Dao gate faintly opened up some cracks. Strands of fluctuations that could suppress the universe seeped out. "It's about to open." The old Taoist's eyes widened. It had been 2 days and 2 nights. Every time Su Yin struck the Dao gate, He used all his strength. The life cauldron gradually became more terrifying as the power of the stars within increased. The Tao gate gradually became clear as it opened. Suyin didn't know how many times he collided with the door. When he finally collided with the door, his door suddenly opened with a rumble. For a moment, it erupted with a terrifying might that could collapse the heavens. Inside, there was a blurry sea of chaos roaring, shooting out countless chaotic lightning bolts. This was an extremely terrifying vision. It was like a universe that had yet to open, filled with chaos. Rumble, all the origin essence, stone's power penetrated the blurry Tao gate. At this moment, Su Yan's Tao was profound. The moment his life cauldron rushed in, it spewed out countless laws and heavenly marks. It began to open up his world in the chaos. His Tao gate gradually became majestic and terrifying. It was as if there was an ancient saint chanting scriptures inside. It was filled with dazzling brilliance. It was incomparable, causing heaven and earth to dim. It was terrifying and majestic. There were countless visions inside. There were blurry stars, a faintly discernible red sun, great Tao golden lotuses entwined with chaotic aura, majestic chaotic figures. These were visions and not real scenes. But once Su Yan's sacred gate became stronger and stronger in the future, these visions might evolve into a real scene. The moment the sacred gate opened, Su Yan's body surged. His primordial spirit grew brightly, and his aura started to skyrocket. Rumble, Su Yan stood between heaven and earth like the divine king who opened up the chaos. He emitted an incomparable aura that illuminated heaven and earth. I've succeeded. Su Yan looked up to the sky and laughed. He had opened the sacred gate and sensed the vast divine energy in his body. His combat strength was not to be underestimated. Moreover, because he had comprehended the sacred gate, his physical combat strength had increased by a notch. The current Su Yan could not be compared to a few months ago. If he were to fight with Zhu Yan now, he would be able to suppress him in one move. This is beyond my expectations. I didn't expect you to use such a short time to open the sacred gate. The old Taoist sighed. He said, once you open the 9 Daesong gates, you will be amazing. Your future achievements will be limitless. Old senior, I'm in a hurry. I won't say much. Su Yan walked up and said in a deep voice, my reward for the 4th stage. How can I leave you out? The old Taoist's sleeves shook, and an item fell from the void. Heaven and earth instantly became extremely cold, as if they had been frozen. It was a snow-white jade bed. It looked as if it was carved out of ice that had been frozen for thousands of years. Frosty aura rose from it, and divine light lingered around it, shining brightly. Old senior, this is? Su Yan was shocked. He could feel the aura of a divine material. This frosty jade bed seemed to be carved out of a very rare divine material. This frosty jade bed can suppress her aura. The old Taoist pondered for a while and said quickly, I'll tell you the truth. If you want to completely cure her, you will need something extraordinary. There are such things in the strongest trial ground, but they're all extremely terrifying treasures. Old senior, how long can it last? Su Yan asked nervously. 3 years. The old Taoist said, actually, this frosty jade bed is a special treasure that can help her cultivate. During the process of being frozen, the frosty jade bed can nourish her body. Her body is very special and has a lot of room for growth in the future. 3 years. Su Yan's breathing was heavy. Can I obtain the treasure in the strongest trial ground in 3 years? Impossible. The old Taoist shook his head. Don't be delusional. 3 years isn't a long time, but there is still a glimmer of hope. If you want to save her, you will need a saint medicine. Even a soul essence saint medicine is too precious. However, her primordial spirit cultivation is not high, so you don't need a saint medicine. You only need a small portion of it to completely cure her. 3 years to find a saint medicine. Su Yan clenched his fists. He carried E.C. Yun out of the Phoenix hairpin space and placed her on the frosty jade bed. At this moment, the frosty jade bed shone on its own. Strands of divine material spread out and penetrated E.C. Yun's body. Because the temperature was too cold, E.C. Yun's body was frozen. However, Su Yin discovered that the frosty jade bed's divine material was automatically nourishing Su Bingshuang's body and even nourishing her broken primordial spirit. Unfortunately, the frosty jade bed was unable to repair E.C. Yun's damaged primordial spirit. If the frosty jade bed's divine material is exhausted in 3 years, does that mean I can find another frosty jade bed and let her live? Su Yin asked. The old Taoist shook his head. That's not possible. Everything is predestined. She was supposed to die, but she went against heaven's will. It's already not bad that she can last for 3 years. 3 years. I only have 3 years. Su Yin put the frosty jade bed and E.C. Yun into the phoenix hairpin space. He took a deep breath and said, Old senior, there are still many things to do outside. I have to go out for a while. The old Taoist waved his sleeves and teleported Su Yin out. However, when he came out, the aura that filled the air caused Su Yin's expression to change. Chapter 146. Even the vast wilderness was trembling. First of all, the energy waves emitted by the starry sky array had completely disappeared. Inside the array disk, there were shadows that pierced the sky one after another, as if the 10 invincible gods of war had arrived on Earth. As soon as they arrived, the aura they exuded caused the mountains to collapse. Large cracks spread out in all directions. The cold energy they emitted seemed to have swept across the entire Earth. The 10 overlords were wearing ancient robes and holding ancient spears and swords. They were looking around with cold eyes. However, at that moment, the 10 overlords trembled as they encountered an extremely terrifying pressure. It seemed that the will of Earth had woken up from a deep sleep. The energy it emitted was enough to kill gods and immortals, which made them feel as if they had been struck by lightning. That scene shocked them. How could the pressure of Earth be so strong? It was many times stronger than ordinary ancient planets with life. Furthermore, all 10 of them were injured. Now that they were being pressured by Earth's laws, the terrifying auras within their bodies were instantly suppressed by a large portion. Even Earth's power was causing them so much pain that they wished they were dead. They were about to disintegrate. The 10 overlords roared. Their hair fluttered in the wind as they resisted the pressure of Earth. 1,000 monsters array. Tai Baokai waved the 10,000 demon flag with his claws. The moment the demonic aura was released, countless ferocious beasts from all directions followed closely behind. When their auras combined, it was as if the sky was pressing down. For a moment, the demonic aura was as deep as the sea. It's a national treasure. Tai Baokai, destroy them, and you'll be my boss. The residents of the Huaxiao Alliance were excited. At the critical moment, Tai Baokai took the lead and launched the 1,000 monsters array with the most powerful force on Earth. For a moment, the demonic chi fell like an ocean, making the 10 overlords suffer a terrifying pressure. Boom! Huaxiao number 1 suddenly recovered to the extreme. Xiaze exploded it and rushed towards the 10 overlords. At that moment, all kinds of divine weapons and ancient array flags from all directions burst out and smashed towards the 10 overlords. For a moment, a huge abyss appeared in a few hundred miles. It was filled with destructive airflow and was about to crack the sky. Bang, bang. Everyone was extremely nervous. They were afraid of failure. They were afraid that the Huaxiao Alliance would be annihilated. For hundreds of miles, dust and smoke filled the sky. One after another, huge black cracks extended far into the distance. It was unknown how many mountains had sunk in. In the direction of the source, there were layers and layers of turbulent energy sources that were boiling. Time passed very slowly. With every breath that passed, their breathing became ragged. As time passed, the source calmed down, causing their nervous hearts to slowly relax. Just when they really wanted to go over and take a look. On this day, the sky changed color and seemed to be weeping. The vast territory also trembled, as if an extremely powerful earthquake had occurred. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out. Everything within a radius of several thousand miles shook. Layers of mud were uprooted from the ground, and large amounts of gravel were swept up into the sky. At this moment, the world rumbled, mountains swayed, and even the world seemed to be overturned. Boundless killing intent engulfed the heavens and the earth, sweeping across the vast wilderness. At this moment, a large number of ferocious beasts were annihilated. Their blood was like a huge waterfall, gushing up and dyeing the sky red. Everyone's hair stood on end. They could vaguely see blood-stained figures standing between the heavens and the earth. Some of them were missing arms, some legs, and some of their skulls were almost torn apart. However, none of the top 10 powerhouses had fallen. Their eyes were cruel and frightening as they looked down at the crowd in all directions. Ant-like planets almost hurt me. Only one was unharmed. He stood in the void, wearing a golden robe as if he was standing in a divine kingdom. Inside his body, 9 divine-grade Taoist sects were faintly discernible, as if they had merged into one. For a moment, his aura was terrifying, making him look like a demon god. Xiaze clenched his fists. This person was definitely not a Taoist, because his realm was suppressed by Earth. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Zhu Hong said coldly. A small aboriginal planet dared to attack them, and even killed 4 of them on the way. This was a great humiliation. They had to sacrifice an ancient planet to intimidate the world. Kill. The 9 powerhouses' auras were cold as ice. They penetrated all directions and were about to start a massacre. Each of them evolved 9 Taoist sects, and the weakest was a heaven-grade Taoist gate. Most of them were heaven-grade Taoist gates, but there were also 8 heaven-grade Taoist gates and 1 divine-grade Taoist gate. This was under the condition that Earth's laws suppressed their realms. Without the suppression of Earth's laws, Tai Baokai was very clear that any one of them could sweep the entire Earth. Kill. The 9 powerhouses' combat power was shocking. They took out all kinds of killing weapons and charged forward. On Earth, a planet that had been awakened for 100 years, these 10 were like 9 invincible gods of war. All kinds of terrifying powers rushed in all directions and launched a bloody massacre at the crowd. Ah! A Taoist realm powerhouse screamed. His heart was filled with fear. The powerhouses who had opened the profound Taoist gate were like ants in front of him, unable to withstand a single blow. A bunch of ants wasted my time. A cold young powerhouse pierced a young woman's chest with a battle spear and lifted her body up. He said cruelly, "I hope this ancient planet won't disappoint me. I can dig out some treasures." The battle spear shone. The young woman, who was in so much pain that she wanted to die, was annihilated without a sound, bloody and ferocious. Even some of the older generation powerhouses who had walked out from the apocalypse were trembling. These people were too ruthless and incomparably savage. Their methods were vicious and unheard of. They saw an alien take out a cauldron and burn a large group of cultivators. He spat out a mouthful of flames and burned them into ashes. In the end, he shook his head in disdain. Too weak. There aren't many human body medicines in their bodies. It's not worth picking. Someone held a chain and pierced through the fleeing cultivators. The chain was very long. He pulled the chain and laughed sinisterly like a demon rushing out from hell. "You bastards! Devils, they are devils." Some people were scared out of their wits and ran frantically. However, they couldn't escape at all. The radius of a few thousand miles had become their territory. They could do whatever they wanted. Kill. Xiaze took out the heaven-suppressing bell. With his battle strength, he could barely block one of the powerhouses. He even knew very well that the longer he delayed, the more these powerhouses would recover. Yuan was the most tyrannical. His roar could shatter mountains and rivers. His entire body was filled with the power to overturn rivers and seas. He could fight to the death with one of the heavily injured powerhouses. Lu Qingtian and the others were mad with hatred. The corners of their eyes were bleeding. They only hated themselves for being useless and unable to protect Earth. Mother of Asterisker, come over here. The Tai Baokai ran wildly and roared from time to time. Someone had set his eyes on the Tai Baokai and wanted to suppress it. His eyes were burning with passion. The Tai Bao Kai was a great treasure. It had actually opened a half-step sacred door. If he could capture the Tai Bao Kai and sell it at an auction, it would definitely fetch a heaven-defying price. 3 of the 9 powerhouses were held back. However, there were still 6 powerhouses slaughtering the surrounding cultivators. For a moment, the whole wilderness was dyed red with blood. This place was more tragic than purgatory in the human world. It was more bloody and cruel than any doomsday. These terrifying cultivators treated them as ants and trampled on them at will. A corner of Huaxia City was alarmed by a furious roar. The cultivators in the city felt their blood boiling, and they almost fell to the ground. It's Su Yin, the god of war. People here were excited. They saw Su Yin, the god of war, rushing out of the chaos crack with a furious roar. These bastards! Su Yin was furious. His eyes were like heavenly knives. He rushed up crazily to stop these executioners. Su Yin was as fast as lightning. However, no matter how fast he was, it would take him some time to rush over. In the process, more and more people were brutally killed. The ones who suffered the most casualties were the army of beasts summoned by the Tai Bao Kai. The area within a radius of hundreds of miles was dyed red with blood. It could be said that corpses were piled up like mountains. I finally saw a beautiful prey. A young man with a gloomy face smiled coldly. There was a cauldron hanging above his head. Several beautiful women were imprisoned in the cauldron. Zhu Guanyu licked his lips and smiled coldly. He stared at Su Bingshuang and wanted to hunt her down. She even opened a divine Taoist gate. It's really surprising. Such a beautiful prey. In the auction, you can't buy it without millions of origin essence stones. Zhu Guanyu's eyes flashed with a trace of blazing passion. He suddenly pressed forward angrily. The 9 Taoist gates that revolved around him began to release an overwhelming aura, which ran through dozens of miles. Su Bingshuang screamed in pain and fell to the ground. There was fear in her eyes as she looked at Zhu Guanyu, who was rushing towards her. She gritted her teeth, and her eyes were filled with determination. She took out a silver knife and was about to commit suicide. Su Bingshuang didn't hesitate. Once she fell into his hands, she would end up very miserable. Beauty, in front of me, you can't die. Zhu Guanyu laughed excitedly. Su Bingshuang's appearance made him feel as if he had encountered a peerless treasure. He smiled evilly. Such a beautiful prey. This trip wasn't in vain. He had already walked over, one hand grabbing Su Bingshuang's wrist and the other hand grabbing her neck. He smiled coldly. Don't worry. I will treat you well and won't sell you to others. I can't bear to sell such a good thing. Stop it, you bastard. Suddenly, at the end of the horizon, a bright light beam rose one after another. While countless earth veins were boiling, a figure with a powerful aura crossed over. Zhu Guanyu's eyes were cold. He looked at Su Yin and said disdainfully, "There's actually someone who isn't afraid? It seems that this planet isn't full of trash. It can be suppressed as a battle servant." "Brother, leave quickly." Su Bingshuang was frightened. These people were too scary. Once they recovered, the consequences would be unimaginable. Zhu Guanyu was very experienced. If he wanted to rule a native planet, he had to use cruel methods to kill a group of people. Only then would they be obedient and become his slaves. "I'll kill you." Su Yan's eyes released a monstrous killing intent. Chapter 147. Su Yin could be said to be a humanoid dragon as he swooped down. His entire body rippled with radiant light, illuminating the blood-stained world. This scene caused the cultivators who were running for their lives to grit their teeth. Someone shouted, "War God Su Yin is here." "Brothers, we can't run. If we run, what will happen to the people behind us? Let's fight them. I don't want to be a slave." Some people's bloodlust was activated, and they let out beast-like roars. They were all crazy. They knew that once these demons killed their way into the bases of the Huaxia Alliance, the Huaxia Alliance would be enslaved. Su Yin swooped down, and his long black hair danced in the wind. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. Not bad. It seems like I'm very lucky this time. I've met two decent natives. Zhu Guanyu smiled cruelly as he stared at Su Yan. His move was simple and domineering. He stretched out one arm, and his other hand flew across the sky. It enlarged rapidly, and his entire palm was filled with a sky-shattering aura. A great expert at the peak of the Dao Gate realm was much stronger than Zhu Yan. Zhu Guanyu's combat strength was incomparably strong. His palm covered the sky and covered the sun, enveloping a radius of 1 mile as he cruelly suppressed Su Yan. Big brother, be careful. Su Bingshuang clenched her fists and her eyes widened. She was very worried about Su Yan. However, the aura in Su Yan's body surged, and Su Bingshuang was pleasantly surprised. At this moment, Su Yan's essence, energy, and spirit were completely different. His long black hair danced in the wind, and his entire body could be said to be the carrier of laws, causing the world to rumble. As his body recovered to its peak, wisps of King's divine might that could shatter the heavens flowed out from his body. Kiki, 2 kings. You're really lucky. Selling you as battle servants will definitely fetch a sky-high price. Zhu Guanyu wasn't surprised. Instead, he was happy. His palm burned brightly again, and the power of the 9 great Taoist sects poured out. His hand was resplendent, and it was as if it had turned into a hand of laws. It enveloped Su Yan and suppressed him. My second alien kill is you. Su Yan's roar exploded here, causing the nearby people who were risking their lives to feel agitated. They saw a scene that made their blood boil. From this moment on, the heavens were rumbling, awakened by Su Yan's aura. Someone saw Su Yan's palm forming a fist seal, causing the ground within a radius of several hundred miles to undulate. This fist was so terrifying that it could overturn heaven and earth. As Su Yan's fist erupted, the surroundings rumbled, and even the mountains trembled. Everything seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Kill! Su Yan's angry fist caused the world to lose its color. It smashed into Zhu Guanyu's palm as if it had pierced through the firmament. His invincible ferocious might was unstoppable. Zhu Guanyu's entire palm was riddled with holes. No power of rules could withstand Su Yan's fist, and it nearly exploded in the air. Zhu Guanyu's face was ferocious. His entire palm was riddled with holes, and it was almost blown apart by Su Yan's fist. War God Su Yan. Countless voices resounded in the Huaxiao Alliance. The residents of the entire Huaxiao Alliance roared, and their blood boiled. The fog of despair dissipated. Everyone's despair was blasted away by Su Yan's fist. You're courting death. You actually injured me. Zhu Guanyu was furious. The 9 Dao gates that revolve around him were all unsealed with a rumble. The dense runes of rules fell down like a sea, penetrating his body. At this moment, Zhu Guanyu was much stronger. He swooped down like lightning, and the aura he emitted caused the entire area to collapse. I'll kill you. Su Yan took large strides forward. His eyes were like lightning, and he was unstoppable. He was extremely terrifying. He roared into the sky, and the sky seemed to darken. His physical body was too domineering. After all, Su Yan had opened a holy Dao gate and comprehended the most terrifying power of rules. He could use the power of heaven and earth on earth to the extreme, to the extent that it could cover the sky and cover the sun. Boom! He waved his fist, and this punch caused the world to undulate. His fist flowed with the essence, energy, and spirit that could tear the sky and split the sea. The moment he punched out, the entire body emitted a true dragon's blood essence, which penetrated the sky and surged violently. Under the gaze of tens of thousands of people, the powerful Zhu Guanyu faced this kind of power. The 9 Dao gates rumbled, and the power of heaven and earth that was activated by Su Yan was suppressed to the point that it was suffocating. Boom! The storm of divine energy pressed forward. Zhu Guanyu's body trembled violently, and the 9 Dao gates were faintly discernible. They were showing signs of collapsing. The corner of his mouth was coughing up blood. As if struck by lightning, he staggered backward and almost fell to the ground. War God Su Yan. The clamor of the Huaxia alliance soared to the heavens and shook the vast wilderness. Su Yan stood tall between the heaven and earth. His black hair draped over his shoulders like an angry war god. His killing intent was like a heavenly blade that spread out from his body. Zhu Guanyu, you're too useless. You can't even stop a native. The young expert holding the chains was like a demon from hell. The chains pierced through dozens of corpses as he walked toward Su Yan. This native is very strong. Once we refine the great medicine in his body, we can refine a furnace full of rare medicinal liquid. A young expert holding a furnace coldly walked over. He stared at Su Yan and felt the vigorous essence blood fluctuations in his body. He was very satisfied with this assessment. I'm looking forward to picking him up. After all, he has a king physique. An expert holding a battle spear arrived. His entire body was surging with a vicious aura. His battle spear shone brightly, causing one's soul to tremble. The area fell silent. One expert after another approached Su Yan. A total of 6 experts stood around Su Yan. They looked as if they were looking at their prey. Their expressions were cold and ferocious. The surrounding people were aghast. They wanted to surround and attack Su Yan. You pitiful things. Su Yan's cold eyes stared at them. He sneered and said, You're trying to make your presence known here? In the prosperous world of cultivation, you are nothing but ants. Su Yan's words made the 6 experts' faces turn gloomy. Although their cultivation was very strong, Su Yan was right about one thing. In front of those unrivaled geniuses who could sweep through a superior life ancient planet, they were indeed only qualified to crawl and tremble. I think you're tired of living, Zhu Guanyu said with a cold expression. Don't interfere. This is my prey. No one can snatch it from me. Zhu Guanyu, are you going to break the rules? The young man covered in flames sneered. After all, it's a king body. It's impossible for you to take it all for yourself. 2 king bodies. We can sell them for a lot of source essence stones if we keep them in custody. I suggest we sell them, someone said. They were even arguing about how to distribute the harvest this time. The cultivators of the Huaxia Alliance were furious. These people were too conceited. They hadn't suppressed the entire earth yet, and now they were arguing about the distribution of resources. As for Zhu Hong, he wasn't here at all. He had gone to Mount Everest. He was so excited that his whole body was trembling. Who would have thought that the heavenly coffin really existed and was even on this ancient planet? Are you done with your discussion? Su Yan said coldly. I can give you a suggestion. The 6 of you, kneel here and kowtow to the dead people 3 times. I'll let you die more easily. How dare you? Zhu Guanyu was furious. He rushed up like lightning and shouted, If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how strong you are. Boom! Zhu Guanyu's energy became terrifying again. The sound of chanting came from his body, and a bright divine light burst out, illuminating the sky. This divine power was running, and a powerful divine power surged out. The moment his fist rose, it released a dazzling brilliance that made people unable to open their eyes. The fist quickly enlarged like a red sun, filling the sky and earth. It rumbled and began to attack Su Yan. The 5 young experts didn't interfere. They also wanted to see how strong Su Yan was. However, the next scene made them dumbfounded. Su Yan's entire fist spewed out a monstrous light that penetrated the sky and even the outer space. This was the fist aura and also a terrifying true intent. It caused the stars in outer space to tremble and the essence of the galaxy to fall, reviving with Su Yan's fist. Dong! Su Yan's fist rose, and a monstrous golden light burst out, containing a destructive power. It was like a star erupting with the power of the stars. The moment it hit, the sky collapsed and the earth caved in. The divine sound was deafening. The divine ability that Zhu Guanyu had conjured, the divine ability that was like a red sun, had been completely blown apart by Su Yan's punch. You should also face reality. Su Yan stood up and let out a loud roar. The roar shook the mountains and rivers, and the heaven and earth. His entire body was like a resplendent star. It rose from the ground in a flourishing state, revealing a powerful and domineering aura. Boom! The place collapsed, and the heaven and earth were riddled with holes. Even the void was trembling from Su Yan's roar. As for Zhu Guanyu, his entire body almost exploded. He coughed out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying like a dead dog. He fell to the ground and trembled. This is the Big Dipper Fist. It's the secret technique of the Big Dipper Starfield. It's only taught to the disciples of the Big Dipper Starfield. This native actually knows the Big Dipper Fist. Heavens, this is a priceless treasure. The 5 experts were so excited that their bodies were trembling. The value of a divine power was too terrifying, especially the Big Dipper Fist. It had extraordinary significance to the Big Dipper Starfield. It was an almost invincible divine power. In a super auction, a divine power might not appear in 1,000 years. The Big Dipper Fist was one of the 72 divine powers. Its value couldn't be calculated with common sense. Suppress him. We must get the Big Dipper Fist. The 5 experts rushed up like lightning. Their eyes were filled with fervor. They looked at Su Yan as if they were looking at a moving treasure vault. You think you can do it? Su Yan's body emitted an unparalleled aura. He was like a resplendent star that illuminated the starry sky. When the saint gate in his body opened, it was as if a chaotic sea surged out. Thousands of primordial visions intertwined, emitting endless terrifying waves that swept through the vast forest. For a moment, the heaven and earth cracked, and ghosts cried and gods howled. I'll kill all of you. Chapter 148. Su Yan's aura pierced through the sky, illuminating the entire Huaxia Alliance. The entire Huaxia Alliance was silent. Everyone stared at the wilderness. At this moment, the 5 experts who were charging toward Su Yan were completely covered by the terrifying aura within Su Yan's body. The sun and moon had lost their luster. The moment the Saint Grade Dao gate opened, everything had lost its light. Wisps of aura that were like mountains and seas pressed down. There was a trace of fear in the eyes of the 5 experts. They felt that an extremely terrifying power was awakening that could completely suppress their battle prowess. How is this possible? They were all horrified and had goosebumps all over their bodies. What was this? This was a Saint Grade Dao gate. Someone had actually opened a Saint Grade Dao gate on a primitive planet. Geniuses who could open such a Dao gate were all peerless geniuses in the vast universe. They all had invincible battle prowess among their peers and could become famous in the star field. They could even embark on the path of invincibility in the future. Such people were all geniuses that they looked up to. But now, on a primitive planet, a peerless genius had actually walked out. Suppress him and obtain his secrets. However, the 5 young experts were not afraid at all. Instead, their hearts were filled with greed. To be able to open the Saint Grade Dao gate, this meant that Su Yan's ancient heavenly art was definitely the best. The value of this scripture was not inferior to the value of the Big Dipper Fist. Rumble. The 5 experts erupted to the extreme and took out all kinds of killing weapons one after another. Charging towards Su Yan, this place was almost completely destroyed. A monstrous battle was born. Su Yan swooped down with the 9 bronze killing swords on his back. Each of them rapidly enlarged, as if they were 9 ancient sword embryos that could pierce through heaven and earth, flowing with the power to cut through the sky. Kill! Su Yan's eyes narrowed as he charged towards the 5 powerhouses with unparalleled might. At the moment when the Saint Grade Dao gate had recovered to the extreme, all the essence energy within a radius of 100 miles seemed to have been sucked dry. For a moment, a domineering aura surged out from the Saint Grade Dao gate. The life cauldron that sat inside merged with Su Yan's Saint Grade Dao gate. This was a shocking scene because Su Yan's aura was climbing once again. The initial scripture was circulating, and his physical body and Saint Gate became one. He turned into a terrifying war god that looked down on the heavens. Rumble! The 9 great killing swords were unsheathed and swept across, colliding with the great killing weapons that were rushing towards him. Under the starry sky, under the confrontation of the divine weapons, Su Yan's aura could swallow mountains and rivers. His palms formed fist seals, and it was as if he was pushing the stars in the universe. The aura that emanated from him was like a real dragon soaring through the sky, looking down on everything. He threw out punch after punch, and every single punch was heavy and ferocious. It was as if he was hammering a heavenly drum, and it produced a terrifying star that smashed down with a bang. Heaven and earth trembled violently, and the wilderness rumbled. Even the mountains shook along with it. Everything in the surroundings trembled along with Su Yan's aura. The 5 experts had the aura of being completely destroyed by Su Yan. The person they were facing did not seem like a native. Instead, he seemed like an invincible heaven's pride. He had definitely gone through an extremely cruel training. So what if he was one of the 9 great Taoist sects? With Su Yan's strength of a Saint Grey Taoist sect and the strength of his physical body, every punch of his had the power to overturn rivers and seas, let alone evolving the Big Dipper fist. One of them screamed miserably. The raging flames all over his body were almost shattered, and his entire body was about to disintegrate. He was almost killed by Su Yan's punch here. Another young expert who was carrying a chain felt as if he had encountered the bombardment of the stars in the universe. Blood spurted out from all the pores on his body, and he almost died under Su Yan's fist. The 5 young experts were all trembling. It was very difficult for them to block Su Yan's strength. They were about to be killed by Su Yan in a spur of energy. Kill him. The 5 young experts were seething with anger. Their Taoist sects had recovered to an extreme degree, and the divine might within their bodies was exuberant. Each one of them was resplendent, and they had fully recovered their strongest strength. They blocked Su Yan's berserk aura. At this moment, the expert who was chasing Tai Baokai rushed over, and the young expert who had injured Xia Zhe also rushed over. For a time, the 8 young experts rushed over. The aura they exuded pushed back, causing Su Yan to feel as if he was about to be sent flying. Boom! Su Yan stepped into the air, his clothes flapping loudly. His entire body seemed to disappear, as if he had become one with the territory. At this moment, Su Yan erupted with a wild roar. Just as his strength was about to be overturned by the 8 great experts, the hundreds of miles of broken territory suddenly began to fill with surging essence energy. Following Su Yan's might, it suddenly began to awaken. Ong, ong, ong. Rumbling sounds could be heard from hundreds of miles away. Tens of millions of layers of earth energy began to soar with Su Yan, turning into essence energy dragons one after another, piercing towards Su Yan and into his sacred gate. Boom! For a time, Su Yan's sacred gate showed signs of disintegration. However, he was extraordinary. With the circulation of the Inception Sutra, Su Yan's physical body and sacred gate became one, evolving the power of the life cauldron. At this moment, Su Yan's combat strength soared by a large margin. It was as if he was uprooting rivers and mountains, moving the starry sky. The power that rippled out from his body made the 8 great experts feel as if they were being suppressed by 100,000 mountains. Big Dipper Fist, Sun Mizar. Su Yan's body was radiant, grand, and vast, like a real ancient star. Brilliant light. The power in his body surged, as if it had evolved into tens of millions of starry swords, flowing with the power to pierce the heavens. Alyath. The endless source of power seemed to have turned into rivers of stars, making Su Yan's aura even more terrifying. At this moment, the heavens fell and the earth sank as a terrifying aura swept across all directions. Someone saw the terrifying universe, stars revolving, faintly emitting the aura of a great divine ability. The incomparable aura instantly struck the 8 young experts, making them feel as if they had been struck by lightning. It was as if they had been hammered by the stars, collapsing into a large cloud of blood mist. Boom! Su Yan's aura surged, piercing through the heavens. The moment this fist struck, it shattered the vast sky, faintly creating a large crack in the void. The 8 great experts were, as if they had been struck by lightning, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. They were all trembling. This kind of power was unstoppable, and they all felt as if they were about to be crushed. Rumble! In the blurry heaven and earth, someone faintly saw that the 9 bronze killing swords had awakened, as if 9 remnant dragons had manifested. It's Su Yan's killing swords. Someone in Huaxia City roared excitedly. In the past, Su Yan, the god of war, killed the alien Zhu Yin with 1 sword. Now, he can definitely kill all of them. Su Yan, the god of war, is invincible. The Huaxia Alliance roared. These 9 killing swords had become the most powerful weapons of the Huaxia Alliance. At the moment when they were blazing, the 9 swords merged into one and turned into a sword embryo that could pierce through heaven and earth. Whoosh! Su Yan held the killing swords. The moment when the killing swords came out of the sword, a terrifying crack appeared in the sky. This terrifying sword light seemed to have penetrated the starry sky, exuding a vague aura of the great Tao of sword. No, this is a divine weapon, a divine weapon. The 8 great experts were trembling in fear. This was a rare treasure, a divine weapon of Tao. This kind of weapon was too precious, and it was difficult to buy even if you had money. It was a particularly rare item. They screamed miserably and collapsed under the power of the 9 dragons' treasured sword. Even 3 great experts were cut into 2 pieces on the spot. The rest of the experts were disheveled and almost exploded under the fierce aura of the 9 dragons' treasured sword. The entire Huaxia Alliance was quiet for a while, and it was filled with excited discussions. 3 great experts were killed, and 5 of them were seriously injured. They were coughing up blood, and their eyes were full of fear. This was a divine weapon of Tao. Let's go, let's go. They got up and ran. A divine weapon of Tao was not something they could resist. This kind of weapon was too powerful. Moreover, with Su Yan's combat strength, he could kill them all in a short time. You want to run? I told you that you would suffer less if you knelt here and kowtowed just now. Su Yan was as cold as a demon god. The 9 dragons' treasure sword was a domain-type treasure. When he unleashed his power once again, the area within a radius of a few hundred li rumbled and was covered by the sword light from the treasured swords one after another. You will regret this. Someone screamed. We are from the ancestral hall. If you kill us, your life, ancient star, will be blown to pieces. Billions of lives will be slaves for the rest of their lives. Die for me. Su Yan lifted his foot and stomped down. Zhu Guanyu screamed miserably. His entire body was collapsing, and he was going to be trampled to death by Su Yan's foot. Just as Su Yan was about to wield the 9 dragons' treasure sword and chop it down, a person suddenly walked out from the distance. His speed was very fast, and he appeared here in a few strides. Wong. He even took out a purple gold gourd. This gourd shone, and the mouth of the gourd rumbled. A great Tao rune seemed to be born from within. This purple gold gourd was extremely shocking. The mouth of the gourd rumbled, and the great Tao rune glowed with a terrifying aura. Zhu Hong took out the purple gold gourd. This gourd tilted down, and beams of divine light shot out. They carried an aura that could destroy the heavens and the earth. This caused the entire 9 dragons' treasured sword to show signs of disintegrating. You have some guts. You even dare to kill my subordinates. Zhu Hong's expression was cold. The moment the 9 divine-grade Tao gates opened, they combined together to form an ancient god domain. For a moment, it made Zhu Hong seem as if he was the descendant of an ancient god. He was like a golden god, and his expression was cold. He was the leader of Zhu Guanyu's group. He stared coldly at Su Yan, and with the purple gold gourd, he suppressed the 9 dragons' treasured sword. Su Yan stared at Zhu Hong. This person was not weak. In the past, Zhu Yan had opened 3 divine-grade Tao gates, but Zhu Hong had opened 9. There was no need to mention his combat strength. Zhu Hong's subordinates stood up and relaxed. Zhu Hong rarely had a match in the Tao Gate realm. Although Su Yan had opened a sacred gate and his body was extremely strong, Zhu Hong could not be weaker than Su Yan. Go suppress him. Zhu Hong ordered as he looked down at Su Yan. His eyes were cold and filled with disdain. These people were afraid and did not dare to provoke him. What are you afraid of? Chapter 149. Xia Zhe and the others were furious. This Zhu Hong was even more conceited than Zhu Yan. Su Yan had already killed 4 of his subordinates. Could Zhu Hong be so strong that he could suppress Su Yan with just a lift of his hand? Zhu Hong was majestic as he looked down at Su Yan. The 9 divine-grade Taoist gates revolved around him. He was filled with a lofty aura. He admitted that Su Yan's sacred gate was extraordinary. However, he had 9 divine-grade Taoist gates, and his magic power was much stronger than Su Yan's. Zhu Hong's eyes were cold. He had never thought that a native planet would have someone who could kill 4 of his subordinates. He would be laughed at if word got out. Zhu Hong's heart was also burning. This planet had a heaven-defying fortune, but he didn't want to report it. He wanted to take it all for himself. The Big Dipper fist and the mysterious ancient heavenly art were enough for him to rise in the future. Let me kill him. The young expert with the battle spear rushed forward. His injuries were severe, but he believed in Zhu Hong. He believed that Zhu Hong could suppress Su Yan. I advise you not to move. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the pain you'll suffer. Zhu Hong's expression was cold as he stared at Su Yan. His aura locked onto him. If Su Yan dared to resist, he would take action and suppress Su Yan. Tai Baokai was furious. This arrogant look was like the reincarnation of a god. Hee kid, let's see how strong you are. The young man with the battle spear became bolder and bolder. He pointed his spear at Su Yan and gestured. He said coldly, I'll lift you up and torture you. Buzz. The battle spear glowed and the smell of blood spread. He held the spear and slashed at Su Yan. He wanted to pierce his chest and lift him up to humiliate Su Yan. The people around felt suffocated and their fists were clenched. Zhu Hong was the strongest on their side, and Su Yan was the strongest in the Huaxiao Alliance. The moment the spear pierced towards Su Yan, in the end, the aura here still became terrifying. Someone suddenly saw that heaven and earth rumbled, turning into a prison, forming a world-killing formation. Endless earth vein energy flowed, turning into roiling, killing intent. Before the young expert with the spear could even get close to Su Yan, he was torn to pieces by the killing formation that had evolved between heaven and earth. A man with special abilities. Zhu Hong's pupils constricted. He was pleasantly surprised. The techniques of the occult arts were too precious, but this native actually grasped it. Just the patterns that spread out from the soles of his feet actually stirred up the energy of the earth veins, killing one of his heavily wounded subordinates. This made Zhu Hong laugh loudly. Su Yan, what a good Su Yan. You really exceeded my expectations. You dared to kill my subordinates in front of me. You really have guts. Boom. When the 9 divine-grade Taoist gates rumbled, the place was filled with an oppressive aura. Zhu Hong's aura was powerful, like a golden god looking down at Su Yan. His eyes were filled with a cruel, killing intent. Zhu Hong was conceited, but he had the ability to back it up. This was because if it weren't for the suppression of heaven and earth on earth, any one of his subordinates could crush Su Yan with a single finger. Zhu Hong's aura became more and more shocking. The 9 divine-grade Taoist gates were about to merge into one. At this moment, a blurry and terrifying giant appeared behind him. It was like a golden divine bird that could swoop down at any time. This was an extremely terrifying divine ability. Although it wasn't a great divine ability, it was still one of the top minor divine abilities. Golden Winged Rock. The divine bird made of gold was so huge that it could be said to be a cloud hanging from the sky. It was filled with an aura that pierced the heavens, exuding the might of an ancient great beast. Suffocating waves filled the air within 1,000 miles. This divine bird was like a living divine bird that was about to pounce out and tear Su Yan's neck apart. I'll give you a chance. Kneel down and become my battle servant, and I'll show mercy to earth. Zhu Hong said coldly as he looked down at Su Yan. He was powerful and conceited. The purple gold gourd above his head rumbled and spewed out divine light. It was full of divine aura. I'll also give you a chance. If you can force me to take half a step back, I'll let you die more easily. Su Yan's reply made Zhu Hong's face stiffen. His eyes became colder and colder. He smiled and said, For many years, no one has dared to speak to me like this. All these years, I've swept through dozens of native planets and ruled over countless slaves. You're the only one who's qualified to be my battle servant. but you're not even qualified to be my servant. Su Yan replied. It seems I'll have to make you accept reality. Zhu Hong's aura was unsealed in an instant. A divine bird soared out from behind him. The golden-winged rock spread its wings and soared into the sky. Divine light overflowed into the sky as its wings split open the sky and filled the air with endless ominous glints. This scene was terrifying. The golden-winged rock's claws rose up and filled the air with a sky-splitting aura. It slashed toward Su Yan and emitted an aura that could penetrate metal and split stone. Boom! Su Yan stepped into the air with his 4 limbs stretched out. His entire body was rippling with golden light that overflowed into the sky. Under the shocked gazes of the entire crowd, Su Yan stood there without moving. A large golden star rose behind him. It was dazzling, as if it had descended from the starry sky. It attracted the power of the stars in the starry sky, and for a moment, it was terrifying. Boom! The star and the rock collided. Energy ripples swept out in all directions and caused a great earthquake. No matter how terrifying the rock was, it couldn't shake the star's power for a moment. They were fighting. Their Tao and arts were released here, and a bloody battle was unfolding under the starry skies. Some people saw the rock's claws being shattered by the star, while others saw a crack appear on the star's body. The 2 great divine abilities collided here. Divine light surged and emitted the sound of raging waves. What was shocking was that the star was filled with a faint divine aura. It was as if it had transformed into a star of the great Tao. In an instant, it had shattered the rock into pieces. Good. Beat him to death. This bastard is too arrogant. Arrogant my ass. Everyone, return to the origin. A single bullet made you doubt your life. You can't even jump off a building if you want to. 2nd Battalion Commander, bring out my Italian cannon and blast him to death. The Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar. All kinds of curses were transmitted between heaven and earth, causing Zhu Hong's face to turn ashen. I'll give you one more chance. If you can force me back half a step, I'll let you die more easily. Su Yan's voice came again, causing Zhu Hong's hair to stand on end. The 9 divine-grade Tao gates burned fiercely. He, a dignified universe powerhouse, was humiliated by Su Yan and cursed by a native planet's resident. You'll regret this. Zhu Hong looked up to the sky and roared. His entire body emitted a deafening sound that shook the heavens and earth. The 9 Tao gates were dazzling and blazing. They seemed to have merged into one and interweaved into a resplendent seal that could collapse the heavens. Energy ripples rippled out, overturning the universe. This scene caused many people in the Huaxiao Alliance to fall silent. At this moment, they all thought of Zhu Yan. The great divine ability that Zhu Hong had used was exactly the same as Zhu Yan's. This meant that Zhu Yan was in cahoots with them. Some people felt as if a knife was being twisted in their hearts. After all, they used to believe in Zhu Yan. Now that their faith had collapsed, they had become Earth's greatest enemy. Beat him to death! Beat him to death! Beat him to death! The Huaxia Alliance's anger spread throughout the entire wilderness. You trash! You'll know what despair is and what it means to be inferior to pigs and dogs. Zhu Hong was really angry to the extreme. This native planet actually had the will to resist. His strongest combat power was awakened, and he used the flipping sky seal. His hands were forming seals. Every seal was extremely profound and carried with it the sound of landslides and tsunamis. Rumble. The flipping sky seal slowly evolved. This seal was like a corner of the strongest ancient planet. When it came down, it suppressed the entire Huaxia Alliance. Great divine ability, flipping sky seal. Zhu Yan merged with the flipping sky seal and was far stronger than the flipping sky seal that Zhu Yan had used. This seal was densely covered with dazzling runes. When it was burning, the seal covered the sky and fell down, pulling endless destructive power. In the face of such power, Su Yan couldn't withstand it and was about to disintegrate. His eyes were wide open and chanting sounds were transmitted from his body. His physical body and life spring were operating to the extreme at the same time. His domain flowed out, and a strong and domineering power flowed out. In the starry sky, the stars were shining brightly and sprinkling down heavenly essence. As Su Yan's power was awakened at lightning speed, it was awakening. At this moment, an uncountable amount of earth vein energy also entered Su Yan's body. His natal cauldron was opened, and the power of the Milky Way gushed out, penetrating Su Yan's limbs and bones. Big Dipper Fist, Mizar Al-Qaid Aliyath. The power of 3 minor divine abilities flashed in Su Yan's body. A vast divine power surged out, causing Su Yan's physical body to seem like an ancient star field. But was that all? Su Yan's aura climbed another level. Migrez. The majestic voice was transmitted in the starry sky, triggering the power of the starry sky. It fell down and penetrated Su Yan's body. For a moment, Su Yan's roar shook the mountains and rivers, dominating the sky. It was an unimaginable scene. When the 4 minor divine abilities were combined, Su Yan's body was covered in a shocking phenomenon. It was as if he was standing in the starry sky, and blurry stars began to revolve around him. Su Yan gave it his all and used his strongest foundation. His entire body exuded the aura of a great divine ability. Rumble. It was a shocking scene. Su Yan pushed the 4 cosmic stars and exploded with a strong combat power, attacking the heaven flipping seal that was descending from the sky. Rumble. At the moment of impact, Su Yan's aura became stronger. He was roaring, and the 4 cosmic stars merged into one. It was like a cosmic comet was born, piercing through the starry sky. It was terrifying. The 2 terrifying divine abilities collided here, giving rise to energy ripples that made people unable to open their eyes. A terrifying wind swept out and swept across the vast forest. Some people saw the stars explode, but the heaven flipping seal was also overturned. It wasn't that the heaven flipping seal wasn't strong enough, but that the natal cauldron blocked the heaven flipping seal's strongest combat power. Otherwise, it would be difficult to block the heaven flipping seal with just the 4 minor divine abilities combined. I gave you a chance, but you're useless. I'll kill you, Su Yan shouted, killing intent shooting out from his eyes. He soared into the sky and broke through the clouds, instantly drawing out the 9 Dragons sword. Chapter 150. The sword aura was like an ocean as it rained down. There seemed to be a true dragon floating inside, looking down at the starry sky. It was filled with an aura that could cut through the void, sending chills down everyone's spines. Damn it! Su Yan's words made Zhu Hong's face turn ferocious. His body surged with vigorous divinity, and the purple-gold gourd above his head rapidly enlarged. The great Tao runes in the gourd's mouth buzzed as they spat out streaks of divine light towards the sword aura that was rushing down. Kill! Su Yan had fully recovered. He was like a god demon, fighting for his life here. His arm spun rapidly like a wheel as he swung the 9 Dragon sword. Just like that, thousands of sword auras swooped down, one after another, towards Zhu Hong. Wong. The purple gold gourd was very terrifying. It contained a great Tao rune, and the divine light it spewed out could easily turn people into pus and blood. The 2 great Tao weapons collided here, and for a moment, mountains collapsed and tsunamis surged. Su Yan is too terrifying now. He can even kill a 9th Heaven Tao Gate cultivator. Fatty was excited. Hearing that, Tai Baokai shook his head and said, "You think too much. They were all injured when they crossed over, and they were besieged by us. Their injuries are especially serious. If Su Yan didn't borrow the Earth Chi, how could he defeat so many people? Moreover, he has a Tao weapon. Although the sacred gate Su Yan opened is powerful, it's still difficult to cross so many levels to kill enemies." Tai Baokai said seriously, "This Zhu Hong has opened 9 divine grade Tao gates. It'll be a bloody battle to kill him." Tai Baotsai's analysis made Xia Zhe and the others nod. But at that moment, roars and surging blood surged, and a power that could pierce through the void burst out. God of war, martial god. Baokai, the Huaxia Alliance has a chance to rise. Billions of residents of the Huaxia Alliance felt their blood boil as they chanted the names of the experts they respected. They saw the martial god's terrifying might. He produced a blood spear, his power exceptional, domineering aura surging, immediately impaling the young expert he was fighting against. The martial god's bones were firm and unyielding. His entire body was covered in blood, and his messy hair covered his face. It moved one's heart, and his heroic spirit covered the sky. If it wasn't for Blood Spear, he wouldn't have been able to kill this severely injured elite. Boom! The martial god pulled out the Blood Spear. His hair was in a mess, but he didn't stop for even a moment. His eyes were as cold as blades as he charged towards Su Yan. As the martial god charged forward, he took out a bow. The moment the bowstring was pulled back, heaven and earth rumbled, and the surroundings trembled. Just like that, arrow after arrow flew out in tens of thousands of streaks of brilliance, as fast as lightning. Every single arrow tore through the sky, murdering towards the 4 young experts who were still alive. Let's go. The 4 young experts were terrified. Their injuries were too serious. Just now, they were almost killed by Su Yan. Now that Zhu Hong had been intercepted by Su Yan, it would be very difficult for them to stop Yi Yuan with their injuries. Hence, they had to leave this place, recuperate, and kill their way out. After all, in the whole of Earth, only Su Yan had the strength to fight against them. Yi Yuan simply couldn't fight against them at their peak. So much so that they felt despair in their hearts. Even Zhu Hong couldn't take down Su Yan in such a short time. Moreover, this planet actually had 2 Dao weapons, and even Su Yan, who had opened a sacred gate. They began to doubt their lives. Could it be that this was the planet of a terrifying existence that had left their sex disciples to cultivate here? Su Yan, give me the 9 Dragons' treasured sword. You must kill him. Otherwise, once he escapes, Earth's coordinates will be exposed. Tai Baokai transmitted his message to Su Yan. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. Once Earth's location was exposed, it would be the greatest trouble. Tai Baokai knew that although Zhu Hong and the others had arrived here through the starry skies, the distance was too great. Even the great figures of the Ancestral Hall couldn't clearly see Earth's coordinates. Here, Su Yan threw the 9 Dragons' treasured sword to Tai Baokai. Su Yan had originally promised to give it to Tai Baokai. Tai Baokai bared his teeth. With the 9 Dragons' treasured sword on his back, he shook the banners of demons and roared, "Go! Dig them out even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Don't let any of them escape. Brothers, let's charge." The Huaxia Alliance was in an uproar. All parties spontaneously organized themselves and charged towards the vast wilderness. Every citizen was participating in this battle. Zhu Hong's expression was sinister as he laughed sinisterly. "What a great Earth! What a great Earth! You guys really want to rebel?" The purple golden gourd rapidly enlarged and was about to swallow the heavens. The runes of the great Tao within glowed and spewed out thousands of streaks of divine light as they rushed towards Su Yan. What a powerful weapon! Su Yan's eyes burned. At this moment, he felt as if he was about to be refined. This Tao weapon was extremely powerful and should have been refined by some great figure. "Bamboo Moon, it's time to see your treasure." Su Yan laughed loudly. The void around him rumbled, as if a starry domain had descended from the heavens. A 10-story pagoda suddenly appeared between heaven and earth. Under Su Yan's control, the 10-story pagoda rapidly enlarged. The moment the divine energy contained within was surging and awakening, the pagoda connected the heavens and earth and faintly pierced through the heavens. The true face of the trial pagoda was unsealed. The divine light of the stars in the outer realms poured down layer by layer. It was as if the Milky Way from the 9 heavens had penetrated the trial pagoda. It transformed into a starry pagoda, spewing out heavenly essence and erupting with unparalleled divine power. This is the Big Dipper Fist. Zhu Hong's expression changed drastically. The Big Dipper Fist had a 10-story pagoda. He even suspected that Su Yan was the son of the Big Dipper Star Region Hall Master. The first story of Starry Pagoda was the weakest, and the 12th story was the strongest. However, a 10-story Starry Pagoda was already precious and terrifying enough. Which ordinary person could refine it? Who could use so many divine materials to refine a 10-story Starry Pagoda? Rumble. The purple golden gourd rumbled as it was almost sent flying by the aura of the Starry Pagoda. Bastard. The divine energy in Zhu Hong's body poured into the purple golden gourd without any regard for his life. The gourd seemed to have transformed into a purple divine hole, spewing out countless divine lights that rushed towards the Starry Pagoda. For a time, a great earthquake erupted. Su Yin felt that it was a pity because the Starry Pagoda hid a type of power that was difficult for him to dig out. It seemed that he needed some special methods. Then, Su Yin thought of the South Pole Starry Sky Art. Could it be that Bamboo Moon had already given him the method to activate the Starry Pagoda? It was just that he hadn't noticed it. However, there was no time to observe it now. The Starry Pagoda was enough to collide with the purple gourd. Kill. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, Su Yin and Zhu Hong erupted with their limits at the same time. When they collided, ripples spread out between heaven and earth. Dong dong dong. Su Yin's aura became more and more terrifying. He unleashed all of his potential to kill Zhu Hong. Zhu Hong's palms formed seals as he circulated his strongest power to attack Su Yin. The moment they collided, tens of thousands of energy beams shot out, splitting the sky and destroying the clouds in all directions. They had unleashed their strongest power. This scene caused everyone to be terrified. Blood splashed out and bones cracked. Heavens! The residents of the Huaxia Alliance were extremely nervous. They were worried for Su Yin. They saw Su Yan's body trembling violently as blood spurted out from his pores. This wasn't surprising at all. After all, Zhu Hong had activated 9 divine-grade Dao Gates. His battle prowess was shocking. If it wasn't for Su Yan's peerlessly strong physique and his natal cauldron, he wouldn't have been able to block Zhu Hong's strongest attack. Look, someone let out an excited roar. They saw that Zhu Hong's palms were cracking and his entire arm was bending. He was about to be blasted apart by Su Yan's fist. Zhu Hong's eyes were wide open in anger. Su Yan's physique was too terrifying. If it wasn't for the 9 divine-grade Dao Gates protecting his body, he would have been torn apart by Su Yin in a single exchange. Kill. Su Yan's strength surged to the heavens. His body flowed with the true intent of the martial path as he pounced forward. His entire body was gushing with the might of a king. Ancient scriptures were being chanted from his body. At this moment, Su Yan's body was like a cauldron that shook the void. Ah! Zhu Hong let out an enraged roar. He took out his natal artifact and stood at the peak of his condition to meet the frenzied Su Yin. This was a frightening battle of life and death. Every time Su Yin attacked, he used his peak strength to kill Zhu Hong. He knew that he couldn't give Zhu Hong any time to catch his breath. He had to kill him and cripple him to prevent future troubles. The mountain forest was in chaos. They fought from one side of the mountain range to the other. After leaving, the entire mountain range collapsed. They were fighting for their lives in the vast wilderness. Damn it! Zhu Hong was about to explode from anger. His entire body was about to be torn apart. There was no way around it. Su Yin's body was too abnormal. It was like a divine iron that had been tempered thousands of times. He stood at the peak of his condition and hammered Zhu Hong's body. Zhu Hong couldn't shake Su Yin's body at all. Right now, he wanted to put some distance between him and Su Yin. However, he couldn't do so. Su Yin was attacking him like a madman, not giving him any time to catch his breath. However, Su Yin wasn't doing well either. Blood flowed out of his pores as he was bathed in blood. His eyes released a torrential, killing intent. Ong, ong, ong. At this moment, the mountains and valleys reverberated with a deafening sound. Countless earth-vein energies boiled, and one could vaguely feel the dragon veins' energy flowing. Not good. Zhu Hong's expression changed drastically. He could actually control a portion of the dragon veins' energy. Rumble. Endless essence energy drilled out of the earth's crust and penetrated Su Yan's body. His eyes emitted a divine light as he stared at the retreating Zhu Hong. Su Yan let out an invincible roar. Endless essence energy and dragon vein energy all penetrated Su Yan's body. He pushed his hands upwards, manifesting 4 cosmic stars. It was as if he was pushing a stellar domain. The mountains and valleys undulated, shook, and trembled. Puff! Zhu Hong coughed out a mouthful of blood. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. His spine nearly caved in, and his eyes were filled with shock. If he were to fight a quasi-third-grade mystical sect ability user in the Dragon Vein, he would be trapped and killed here. As the all-crushing strength came crashing down, a purple-robed old man crossed the void and arrived here. He was resplendent to the extreme. He ignited his primordial spirit and erupted with the power of possession. His strength instantly pierced through the void and struck towards Su Yan's forehead. "Old thing, I've been waiting for you for a long time." Su Yan's face was fierce. A Buddhist sea seemed to open in his forehead. A golden primordial spirit sat cross-legged in the future, sitting in the midst of chaos. First of all, Su Yan's primordial spirit was already the size of a child. Secondly, the Sutra of the Future was extremely terrifying. As the sutra rang out, Su Yan's primordial spirit sat cross-legged in the future and stretched out a hand. The hand of primordial spirit seemed to steal a great power from the future. For a time, it blazed like the hand of a Buddha, crossing the future and covering this place. "Impossible,"